We are live. We are waiting for. Oh, Lana's here. Perfect timing.
I'm here. I had to press a
Perfect timing. It just started. So I don't know if anyone's in here watching yet, but we had to bring Lana back on for this episode because me and Lana were just like voice messaging back and forth, and we were like, I'm like, I want to do. We were just so riled up, especially with all the information that we had been learning, and I'm like, I think I'm going to talk about it on Friday. I'm like, you should come if you want. And she was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm going to be there. So today we are talking about TikTok, the global phenomenon that has
nemesis.
So many lives. It's, I would argue, ruined a lot of people's lives.
And they're going to ruin a lot more soon.
I don't think we need to introduce TikTok to you guys. You guys know a lot about it. I mean, you guys will probably know like of it at least. Probably have it downloaded in your phone. But I don't know how to pronounce. So it's owned by ByteDance. And the founder is, I'm not going to be able to say his name right, Zhang Yiming, I think. He actually was, this is not his first try at becoming like having a successful app. He has tried multiple times with other things and failed. He's had some successes in China with like just apps in China, but nothing obviously like TikTok. Especially with the success, but then also failure of short form content like Vine. TikTok learned a lot from that, and they're just very sketchy, and that's kind of how they became huge. So the app actually launched in China first. I don't even think it was called TikTok. It was called, you know what it's called? It was a D, I think.
Oh, I thought it was ByteDance. Oh, that's
what it was called in China, like the Chinese version before the global TikTok launched. I don't think it was called TikTok. But
I Google this?
I don't know, but they had it in China first, and then they launched what we know as Musically. It is
Musical.
Oh, music. What is it? I don't even know how to say that.
It's like musical.ly.
And they were doing such sketch shit to get this. They used to literally, like, people would order phones and they would take it out, download the app, and then put it back in. So when people got their phones, it would already be downloaded on there. And then when they were trying to launch in the like all over, they would like make accounts on Instagram, etc., and post a lot of videos with the TikTok watermark in order to get people to keep seeing the watermark. That's why they started allowing users to share their videos to Instagram, to Snapchat, whatever, with the watermark. So people would start, oh my God, TikTok. They paid, they also went to go get like smaller creators that weren't doing very well on Instagram and other platforms, YouTube, and tried to get them to come post on TikTok. They paid one person $1 million to come post on TikTok. We don't know who it is, but they were paying people that were successful on other platforms to come use TikTok in order to get that success. Now, what made TikTok such a huge thing? I think the pandemic is kind of when it blew up because we were all at home. And I think I read that the average person during the pandemic would open TikTok like 8 times a day and just scroll through this short form content.
People who are
what's crazy about TikTok is what made it is they really, really did this thing with the algorithm that was unlike anything else. They literally would know, they would pay attention to what you were watching and be able to tailor what you would see exactly to what you're watching. And that's also become a problem because like I could use TikTok and you could use TikTok and our feeds would be completely different. A parent is going to use TikTok and see completely different things than their kid is seeing because of how much they tailor the algorithm to your liking. Another reason for their success is that you didn't need to have a big following. You could literally have your first video get millions of views.
Sorry. Can we get rid of this person?
Stop, Lana.
That's why I clicked on it.
I was like, what? I was like, why would Tyler put that up? But yeah, so they would so anybody could go, like people that were smaller creators could literally get on TikTok and go viral, and they could get like a bunch of views all of a sudden. But there are some issues there, and they don't let everybody go viral. They decide who goes viral. They decide everything. These moderators, and now their AI, whatever they're using, have godlike power pretty much in determining who is worthy of going viral. So it has been, people know that the moderators were asked to shadow ban and not push out videos with ugly, obese, or poor people. So from their own
disability.
People with disabilities, yeah. So like I think I screenshotted some of the stuff they were looking at. The moderators were expected to look at this stuff and not push out, suppress users with abnormal body shapes, ugly facial looks, too many wrinkles, people in like the slums, chubby, have obvious beer belly, obese, or too thin, not limited to dwarf, like basically, people with disabilities, ugly facial looks, not limited to disformatted face, fangs, lack of front teeth, senior people with too many wrinkles, obvious facial scars, or facial deformities, not limited to eye disorders, crooked mouth disease, or other disabilities. So this whole anybody can use TikTok and go viral, and it just depends on what users want to see, is not necessarily true. And I think we all know that. When we scroll on TikTok, you see attractive people more. And I was like, that makes sense because people are more likely to be interested in attractive people. But no, they're going in and they are specifically, they're not letting people with disabilities get the same reach. They're not leaving it up to the viewers and what viewers want to see. And this algorithm thing that they like, so I know people have had issues because let's say you're depressed and you stay longer on videos about depression, your whole feed will then become super like things about being depressed and sad and suicide and whatever. Even though they're like, we want to make our community. Every time we go live, we get the message, please make sure that you review our community guidelines in order to stay safe. I'm like, really? 1 in 4 of their users are under the age of 17. I think, I don't know if that's the latest stats on it, but they do have a large younger audience. This short form type of content is very addicting. It's shown to literally affect the same part of your, like a slot machine when you're gambling. When you keep scrolling, you keep scrolling, you keep scrolling, you keep scrolling, you keep scrolling. Is that really good for kids? What do you think, Lana?
No, it's been proven that it has. I mean, Wall Street Journal, I think it said it was like crack cocaine, like the way
I saw that.
reacts to it. Obviously it's not chemically addictive, so, and it's not like going to ruin your life like that, but it's ruining the attention spans. People aren't going to be able to sit there and watch a 5-minute video anymore. They're going to get bored and scroll to the next thing. And it's actually affecting advertisers. So as much as they want to go and advertise, they want to treat it and create it to be more like an Amazon thing or something. Mm-hmm. Advertisers are going to suffer because no one's going to stay that long to listen to see a full advertisement. They're just going to keep scrolling.
Yeah. And I know that they're charging advertisers a lot of money though too, because I don't know if you guys have seen the ads on TikTok, but you don't even really know you're watching an ad, and it's like a little yellow sticker at the bottom. So a lot of advertisers, like people are like staying on it longer because they don't even really know it's like an ad. They have big plans for expansion. I mean, they're already competing with so many like social media apps, but they want to start, like the Chinese version already has this where like you'll look at like I don't know, you'll look at bananas, and then what they do is literally right there they'll have a link to buy bananas. And they have all your information already in it. So it's like Amazon. So they're competing with companies like Amazon. They're planning to, because and they made $30 million, I think, in one day in China from that. They want to start doing food delivery. They want to start doing longer form content to start competing with Netflix and stuff like that.
They want to deliver food
partnered with BBC. Like there is no telling where this will go. Like this could be, this could literally take over everything. Music, right? I think Lil X? No, I don't listen to him. He got so many Doja Cat. They started their whole careers based off going viral on TikTok. And now their musicians can actually pay TikTok to have challenges and stuff done with their sounds. Musicians are literally making music with TikTok in mind and lyrics that can then be turned into challenges, etc., because they know the impact that TikTok can have. And like, to me, it's just cheapening our world. Like, music shouldn't be about that. Like good music should be about your message, your soul, your, not like, oh, how can I get 16-year-olds to dance to this on TikTok,
So speaking of Vines, what happened to Vines?
Okay, so what happened to Vine? When I was getting ready, I was trying to like learn about all this stuff. So Vine was going down, and they had a meeting from this YouTube video. I didn't actually check it, but it's literally called "The Truth About TikTok." It's like a 45-minute video, and I listened to it, and has like 800,000 views, and this is like kind of the stuff that they were talking about. But Vine met with like 18 of their top creators because the top creators were saying we want to get paid, and they wanted $1.2 million each for posting 3 Vines a day, and Vine didn't do it. So their top creators left the platform, and then it eventually went down. So TikTok learned from that, and they treat their top creators very well. Which is not most people though. And they have the Creators Fund, which I don't even know. I don't think we would ever be able to be. I don't even know how that works. But they have this whole so they had all this like controversy starting to come up because young people are looking at this, and it would curate their feeds to like if a young person had an eating disorder, it would literally show them a bunch of like really anorexic people that were promoting that. It would show them whatever they were watching, which may not be great content. But the problem is TikTok is so big and they can't censor. So they're censoring it kind of like wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're not like somebody literally committed suicide on TikTok. I don't know if you guys heard about this. Committed suicide on TikTok. Somebody underage, I think. And TikTok took 2 hours to take the video down. And then instead of contacting the authorities, it took them 3 hours to do that because they contacted their PR team first to make sure that they could not have the story come out. So TikTok definitely does not have an accurate or any type of real way.
It's really weird. Remember I told you I made like a new TikTok account, and it was showing me all these like little kids. And one of the things that it showed me recently, I opened up the app and it shows me on a playground is like 2 girls kissing under a slide.
Yeah. Kids. But that's the kind of stuff yeah. And then you see story after story after story. Like I literally went on TikTok Help the other day on Reddit, and you see story after story of people that literally do nothing. Like they literally have a hiking page and their pages get taken down. Everything gets taken down. And it's funny, when TikTok got exposed for trying to repress people that were unattractive and poor, they said it's because they want to stop bullying. I think we all know that the TikTok comment section is egregious and people are bullying freely, no issue at all. But if enough people report your page, you actually and there's actually Discord groups that will target people. And Lana even pulled up a story of a woman whose business was like destroyed because these random trolls targeted her page and they kept reporting her for racism.
No, you know what they did? And this is my bigger concern, is that it's an invasive app. And that's the reason that the government doesn't allow the military to have this app.
Yeah, it's not just military. I wrote it down.
But this woman, she had a very successful sunglass business, glasses, whatever. And suddenly everything dropped. And she goes and she sees that all her traffic's being diverted to a replicated page. It looks just like her page. Basically, the Chinese stole her idea. They're making her same model of sunglasses or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they stole
that must be something else I read, because I know that there are people that are getting targeted by groups that just go keep reporting. There are people that literally are like just artists that are trying to put their art out, and somebody will go like report them for racism or something. And TikTok literally, and I've had this happen to me too. I've appealed, and literally within 5 seconds I get a notification. No, we've reviewed your appeal. I'm like, no, you didn't review my appeal in 5 seconds. And people's accounts are like gone. And that's what kind of like broke my heart. Fine, if you don't like what we're doing, okay. There are people who literally, like, to me, TikTok it was such a chance, and it was success for people who wanted to innovate, people who wanted to be creative, people who wanted to do something different, who didn't want to work in a normal office, people that had a story similar to mine, that had a dream, that wanted to showcase their art to people. And TikTok plays God and just is like, oh, we're going to shut down this account. We're going to shut down this account. We're going to shut down this account. And people's dreams and livelihoods are being taken away at the whim of God knows who, a robot or a person. I don't know. So yeah, the data stuff we're going to talk about in a second. But to me, that was just so, yeah, Vine also never ran ads on the platform that caused, yeah. So
Vine did kind of like
TikTok didn't do, and TikTok became obviously a global phenomenon. That's not really my issue with them, though. I mean, I have plenty of issues with them, but yeah, the fact that they literally just take away people's accounts that they worked really hard to build. I'm gonna be honest, me and Lana, like, we get our accounts shut down all the time, and we don't really work that hard to build them up because, you know, people are gonna want to follow us because, you know, we're showing off our bodies. But a lot of people, that's not the case. They work really hard for years to build up these accounts, to become creators. And when I see comment after comment after comment on these threads saying, I guess I'm going to try YouTube, I don't know what to do. And TikTok doesn't tell us about their algorithm. People try everything. They're like, maybe I'll try this. Maybe I'll try this hashtag. Maybe I'll try this. They have gotten all of us hooked on how we can be successful on this platform because they pick and choose who's successful on this platform, who is able to prosper and who is not. And they have no rhyme and rhythm to it. All of the stuff they try to avoid, bullying and harassment, is what they're doing themselves, right? They're letting people who are harassing people to get accounts shut down. They are relying on these, they're like, it's a kids app, yet they're relying on these 15-year-old boys to report people, report enough videos. Like, we've all had it happen where you go live and then all of a sudden, like, half of your videos are taken down for violation because people report them. And it's not like people that mean well, you know, unless it's like Twitch, from the moment you get a strike, you end up on the bot shit. Yeah, I don't know much about Twitch and that, but I know Twitch too. And Twitch, I think, is unique because a lot of their user base, which is funny because, like, when I heard that you're not allowed to use incel, simp, or these kind of words as an insult, I'm like, well, what about other words? What about whore? What about words that are degrading towards women? It seems like it's only words degrading towards men that we're not allowed to use because I'm assuming a lot of their base are these kind of men. So they run the rules. The CEO of Reddit literally called TikTok a parasitic something. Not only that, TikTok also, so the whole thing with data on TikTok is TikTok takes, like, literally everything you do on your phone, TikTok collects. And the issue with that is because there's a lot of social media companies take data. I don't know if it's to the extent of TikTok. I have no idea about that. But the difference is the Chinese government can ask for this data at any time. They don't need a warrant or any type of anything to get this data. Now, ByteDance is saying we don't give them data. We don't give them anything, but that's all we have to go by. And so it's not just the US Army, it's actually the Pentagon, Department of State, Department of Homeland Security, TSA. None of them are able to have TikTok on their phone. And it's funny because China bans everything we do. They're not even allowed to have Zoom, YouTube, Facebook. All of that's banned in China because they don't trust the US, but we're trusting them.
Yeah, and this is why, okay, so hi
Well,
there.
social media sees your data. Yeah, so that's kind of why I brought that up. But the difference is that, you know, if Instagram's taking your data, Instagram isn't required to hand it over to the Chinese government when the Chinese government asks for it. Also, TikTok has been known to suppress content that the Chinese government doesn't have regarding Taiwan, Tibet, all of this stuff. TikTok suppresses it because they don't want to piss off the Chinese government. It is said that they're also getting hate from the Chinese government too, threatening to ban TikTok from China, which they don't want. So TikTok's trying to kind of like please the Chinese government, but also tell us that they're not working with them and they're not.
They're trying to please two people. They're trying to, like, I'm sure that they didn't create this app for the Chinese government, but the Chinese government has, you know, has the power to
sway and influence.
Yeah, if any business that is open in China, the Chinese government gets to control it. So they're going to be like, okay, you can have this, but you have to give us the data. So there's been so many different reports that they, you know, whatever, our
They
intelligence.
even have gotten so much in trouble because they're getting
Yes,
kids
there's a
data
list of
as
all
young
the
as
security
6 years
breaches.
old. They're taking data. There's leaked audio or something of them taking data from kids that are like so young, like all of their data from their phones, like 6-year-old kids. Like it is really, I don't know. But
I
it's,
think
I
that's
mean,
what happened to the lady
I'm
with
not a conspiracy theorist, but to me, I do understand why the FCC wants they have wanted the App Store to take it off. Obviously, we know Trump was like, they need to sell to a U.S. company in order for us to keep it. So I think Microsoft was about to buy them. It didn't go through. Another company was about to buy them, and it
yeah,
didn't
and
go
then
through.
this isn't true. The Oracle thing, but we'll answer a bunch more comments too. But
No, yeah, that's the company that didn't go through.
no, and that was they said they're going to route U.S. traffic through Oracle so that they can prove to us that we're holding that information, but they can still route it there and route it to themselves. So they can't prove that it's going to only solely be routed to the U.S. Oracle cloud, whatever.
Yeah. There are even users who like promote things like to see if like there was a whole Benadryl overdose trend and kids were like trying to do it, and then finally a user came on and they're like, TikTok is allowing this, and they took down that video, but they didn't take down all those other videos. And look, I understand that TikTok, this is a lot of shit they have to keep track of, right? Like billions of users. They made it really easy for people to create content. So now they have to figure out a way to censor the content that they should be censoring, like people killing themselves. But they're not doing it successfully, and they're banning people for no reason. They are keeping people on that they shouldn't be keeping on. I mean, there is so many stories of like if you're a pedophile, you literally just get on, and if you watch young children, it'll just keep showing you young children, young children, young children, young children. And there's a lot of young children on TikTok. And I think that's also an issue. If it is 1 in 4 users are under 17, are we now going to curate all the content to be appropriate for kids? But what about the 3 out of 4 other users?
Way, but it's totally not. Hold on. I want to show you this girl. Remember the girl, who did I send to you earlier? I can't see any of her previous messages. It's so weird.
I think if you're a parent, your kid, like the fact that they literally have admitted to telling their moderators to get rid of people who aren't attractive. I don't know what kind of good message that's sending to children, that if you have a facial abnormality or you're overweight, that you're not worthy to be on their For You page.
I just want to show you guys this. This is a creator on there. Okay, can you guys see? Ass, all ass.
Oh, did I?
Ass.
Oh, okay. I think I just okay.
This
no, it's because some accounts are like grandfathered in and they have big followings, so TikTok lets them get away with stuff that new creators like us don't get away with. It's so me and Lana literally call it our like abusive boss because the thing is, it is so lucrative. It is so lucrative. If TikTok doesn't want to fuck with you that day, you make like we get a lot of views on there. We don't get those views on Instagram. We don't get those views on Twitch. We don't get those views anywhere other than TikTok. We have literally gotten traffic to our OnlyFans and all this stuff like crazy from using TikTok. But you know, TikTok's like, oh, okay, today it works, tomorrow it doesn't work. I literally told Lana, I'm like, I would honestly, my mental health would be so much better if they just banned it in the US, because then I wouldn't feel pressure to use it. Because right now I'm like, okay, like I can make a shit ton of money if it works today, so let me try. And it's like, but then, you know, they just pick and choose. Today you're allowed to do it, tomorrow you're not allowed to do it. Today,
and I do think that us going live, they've changed things, not just like us individually, but people, us included in a group of other people, that us going live and blowing up on live, it was like going up like this, like crazy. And then suddenly it was like, we just hit a wall, and then suddenly everything changed with the lives. So
now they want you to pay to promote your live. Oh, and another thing they do, people that tip us on the lives, when they ban our account, they keep the money. Yeah. There's a promote feature that you can use to promote your videos. You pay. So I paid like what, $20, and they told me that my video wasn't approved, and they keep the money. You know how much money they've kept? Hundreds of dollars from Lana by just doing stuff like that. She even tried to use the live promote feature, and it didn't work and they suspended her account. And then later they told her that her promotion wasn't even approved. Well, where's her money then?
Suppose it went back. I was just testing it out because I was like, let's see what happens, you know?
And then, like, what is this doing to our society that everyone wants to consume? It's already had effects on people's attention spans. I hate short form content. I'm sorry. I fucking hate it. Maybe because I have a thirst for intellectual growth. Sorry. And a 7-second video of something dumb just really doesn't appeal to me. I like YouTube videos. I like podcasts. I like in-depth conversations that are not possible on TikTok. And I honestly, every time I'm on TikTok, I literally feel like I'm losing brain cells because it's just it's catering to the part of our brain that isn't like it's literally catering to a part of our brain that isn't good for intellectual growth or even just happiness and human flourishment, right? If you're literally just like 5-second video of like this, and then you just wasted so much of your day doing what, right? But it's so addictive, right? It like plays into that addicted. We want a dopamine rush. It literally is very attractive. That's why so many people are addicted to it, especially if you're a young child. Yeah, I think the onus is on the parent. I don't have.
It is a 15 and up. Is it 15 and up?
I don't know what, but there are kids younger than that on. Like I literally do it.
Yeah, it is 15 and up.
Clearly making videos on here.
It's supposed to be 15 and up.
Age when you sign up. In fact, some of the advice I've gotten on TikTok is they actually want younger people, like 18 to 20. Me and her are both older. I'm 27. She's in her 30s. And they say if you want your videos to get pushed out more, that's another thing. They're ageist. So if you're older, make sure you make when you make your accounts that you put yourself in the 18 to 20 range. They will push out your videos more. If you are darker skinned, that is one of like darker complexion people, they don't push out as much. I mean, just every type of racist, homophobic, I've heard claim all of this. And some of them are literally from their own, like it's been like shown like, okay, if somebody's obese, poor, if they're in a like the slums, don't push it out.
It's crazy. Kind of answer this.
Huh?
Should we answer this question? I mean, we're gonna go through more of these comments from above, but
honestly, no. I don't think other OF creators are busy with their own. They're not sitting down watching our lives. You know who's reporting us? It's men that are upset. Like if you watch some of my previous episodes, it is the Andrew Tate crowd that is reporting us. Other OF creators, first of all, most of us are so. In fact, I have had other OF creators that have randomly come up on mine, and they're like, "Be careful." They just sent me a message asking me if I felt safe watching your live.
Yeah, in fact, the girls
our accounts aren't even big. Like, if anything, they would want to go take down a bigger account.
Yeah, I would never report like another OF creator.
No, they're busy making.
Like I see other girls getting away with shaking their asses. I'm not going to report them.
It's those dumb people. You know how many times I get the comment, "Pop one," and I'm like, I'm not going to pop one. They're like, "Reported." They'll literally report you.
Oh my God, really?
TikTok's rules, and then TikTok will listen to them and ban you. So I'll show my titties on there because then people.
Then they go and duplicate you. Literally the guy who recorded my live and then went live with my recording pretending to be me got more views and more everything than me because they're suppressing my lives. But and I reported that profile. I'm like, this person is pretending to be me like 10 times and it's still up.
Also, their working conditions. There's like story after story of people having terrible working conditions, just being forced to work. There are even software engineers that have left and like talked about why they left TikTok. It seems like a toxic place for its users, its creators, its workers, and they're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger because of all the money they have. They've partnered up with Walmart, L'Oreal, all of these huge companies making so much money off of advertisements, off of their biggest creators, while completely ignoring the dark side. Or what they do is they're like, oh, people are mad at us because we're showing bad content to kids. Okay, we'll just get rid of people who have OF, or we'll just get rid of this. And it's like, it's
that's who built up their platform to be as big as it is today. They used all these smaller people, all these smaller businesses and smaller creators, and now they want to get rid of everyone because they want to get the big people.
I don't think they necessarily want to get rid of everyone. They just have so many users and so much content that and we are more likely to get mass reported because of this toxic male online culture. Like you said, the Andrew Tate people, this culture loves reporting us. Like if we were just like, you know, an average person just like out walking our dog, we would not get the reports we get. Like we sit there and as soon as people get on, they're like, oh my God, women have it so hard, blah, 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 Andrew Tate. I had no idea who the fuck Andrew Tate was until I started going live on TikTok. I was like almost embarrassed. I was like, is this somebody in like Parliament somewhere? Because why are they so known? And I don't know who the fuck they are. That's the thing. And I say it all the time. Lower IQ people probably lean this way, and the little bit higher IQ of the same breed go like Jordan Peterson route. But Andrew Tate is like, I heard of Jordan Peterson before because like, he has some brain cells. Andrew Tate, like even when I listen to him, the amount of logical fallacies this guy has, like he even says stuff like, well, no, in my experience, it's like, so everything is based off your anecdotal, like, and his viewers don't even probably know what anecdotal evidence means. So it's crazy. Because you're strong, intelligent, and confident, we scare the crap out of them. It's not even that we're scaring them. It's just that people online are very miserable, especially some people that are sitting on TikTok in the middle of the day. Not everybody, but they are miserable. And that's why you get like when TikTok's like, oh, we didn't want ugly people on our For You page to prevent bullying. It's like, you want to prevent bullying. Look at, you guys leave all these comments up under people's videos full of hate. You guys listen to the users reporting other people without checking if the report is valid, which is allowing these targeted attacks on innocent people. There have been people who have been like African American, and they've made content, and a group of like crazy, you know, people that are extremely racist will mass report them, like from a Discord group. They'll like create it and they'll report them for racism, and their whole account will get shut down. And it's like, yeah, you have this hardline policy on bullying and harassment. I just think TikTok is so sketchy, and they're just growing and growing and growing and growing. And I've benefited off TikTok. I'm not gonna lie. Like I made more in the month of August than I've ever made from TikTok, even though it was such an emotional train wreck for me. Like it is very lucrative, but I hate that they have that power and they just pick and choose who they give it to, where they take it away from, et cetera, et cetera. They don't actually let viewers decide what goes viral. They suppress things that the Chinese government wants them to suppress.
That's what differs from other platforms. Like building your business off of TikTok is just like it's like walking on eggshells. Like you build your business on YouTube, you have a YouTube channel, and that it's pretty solid. Like you got to really like mess around and do something stupid to get.
You may get demonetized, but you're like on a video, but your whole channel isn't going to get taken down.
Right. TikTok will just delete your whole account. We'll put a year into the work and all of that. But I think like obviously we're a little bit angry at how TikTok has treated us, but that's not my bigger issue with it. My bigger issue is that it's the Chinese government and it's invasive. Like all these apps are invasive. They take our data so they can sell us shit. China's not taking our data to sell us shit. They're already selling us everything. We buy everything from China. They're taking our data so they can steal information that they're not privileged.
Ideas, etc. I mean, that is a concern of mine. My biggest issue with it is mostly the discrimination and what it's doing to our brains. It's not good for you, especially children or anybody.
Never let my kid be on
Before I started making TikToks, and let me tell you something. In law school, nobody fucking used TikTok. People that are off like doing great things are not the people that are sitting there scrolling on TikTok. Like they're just not. In fact, one guy that I was friends with was like he was using it. Everybody made fun of him because they're like, why do you even know what that does to your brain to listen to that same sound over and over? At the time, it was Corvette, and he would just play it over and he'd click the sound and he'd click on these. I'm like, I literally like my brain feels like mush just from hearing you listen to the same 6-second soundbite over and over and over and over again. For me personally, I don't consume content on TikTok at all. I create on TikTok because it's beneficial to me. But to me, it's just scary how they've tapped into such a primitive part of our brain, and they're taking all our data. They're using that, and they're showing people what they like. So yeah, if you're very depressed and suicidal, they don't care. They're like, oh, this is what this person likes to see. Let's keep showing them more of this. They don't care about us. And I'm not saying other social media companies care about us, but I think TikTok has taken it to the next, like, they really do not care about you, your business, what you've built on TikTok. They want you to use
it. China. I'm sorry, but the Chinese government does not care about their own freaking people. I mean, the way they treat their people, they send gangsters out to beat up the people. If the people are, doing a peaceful, like, protests or something.
Yeah.
They literally hire the mafia. The government calls the mafia up and says, "Go beat the people up," and they do.
That is, I mean, I'm from the Middle East, so that's common in a lot of countries, and this is not a reflection on the Chinese people or Chinese culture. That's obviously beautiful.
No, it's the government. 100%.
But the government is very sketchy, and even if this app was created by the US, I would still, because YouTube to me is not like YouTube, even Reddit, Twitter. These are places that it's actually, I don't agree with Twitter's censorship policies. I know Mark Zuckerberg was just on Rogan and like talked about this too, but I don't agree with any of that. But it's like, to me, like, it's like, for me, I think of it the same way as when people talk about our issues in the United States and rights here, which is very important. But I'm like, compared to the Middle East and other countries, we have a lot of rights. So when I compare Twitter and Instagram and the issues that they have compared to TikTok, it's like nothing compared to TikTok. And TikTok is just growing and growing and growing and creating this like very cheapened form of media where now even our music is like starting to be curated to 6-second dopamine. Like nothing is actually deep anymore, it seems. Like how much depth? I think they just started letting you upload videos into 10-minute clips. Like how much can you really learn in 10 minutes? How much can you really write? Whereas on YouTube, you can upload 3-hour-long videos, right? You can really, I think short form content is a disservice to our brains. I really do. Doesn't mean you can never consume it, but to me, it's just like you're developing a lack of attention span. You're not really able to learn anything meaningful, especially if you're not able to actually check what, like if you're just scrolling through TikTok and you hear a statistic, you're not going to go and look it up because you're just trying to go to the next video. So the spread of misinformation can go viral on TikTok in a short amount of time. I mean, if it takes them 2 hours to take down a suicide video, who knows how long it'll take them to take down misinformation on vaccines. And these people are not fact checking this. They're just going on to the next video. It has so much potential for damage to our children, to us. I really don't like TikTok. Like, I'm going to keep using it because I'm going to try to milk what I can out of it. I have made so much money in the past month off of fucking around with it. But if they banned it right now, I think it would be a weight off my shoulders, and it would make me feel amazing for all the people that now can maybe not have their brain cells destroyed. And like, exactly, I'm sorry, if something is activating the same thing as like a gambling slot machine, why are children even allowed to use it? Like, why is that? I don't know. Why isn't there app based? Well, because they lose money, because a lot of younger people are more primed to like want this kind of stuff because their frontal lobe cortex isn't even developed yet to realize, like I do. Like if this came out when I was 15, I would probably love it. Now that I'm 27, I'm like, this is bad for me. And I can see that. Especially when you're young and they're like, oh, we want this to be a safe for kids. But if you're ugly, if you're poor, if you're fat, if you're dark, if you're this, you're not going to be on the For You page. So these kids are just seeing Eurocentric beauty standard of beauty just over and over and over. And this is coming from us that we have, like, at least to some people. I mean, some people think we're hideous, but some people think, and I still don't like that. I want the viewers to choose. I mean, I have heard my sister, when I was like first talking about how much I'm banned, she was like, oh, I follow like some disabled people that talk about, their journey with being and TikTok bans them all the time, shadow bans them all the time. I'm like, for being this, like, it's like they don't want ugly people on their app, really.
And because those people are also making money. Like there was a woman, she had so many people watching her live. She was a burn victim, and she was getting all kinds of gifts. I don't know what happened. Her account might still be up, but either way, she was making money off of just going live on there. And they don't want, I think they're just getting to a point, they don't want people making money on their app for free. They need to be gaining something off of it. They want to completely monetize. And
it's not that they don't want ugly people on their app, it's that people don't want to see ugly people. Well, then let them decide. If TikTok's algorithm is so which is how it became a thing, if people don't watch these videos, they wouldn't go viral anyway. Why do you need moderators to go in and specifically shadow ban ugly people? Let the free hand of the TikTok market decide what's popular and what's not. That's not how this is going. It's not the free hand of the market of TikTok that's deciding what goes viral and what doesn't. It's trolls and TikTok's rules on who's attractive and who's not. That's what's deciding.
I think it's just giving more power to the Chinese government. And I personally, I am not a fan of the Chinese government. I feel like I stay away from news and I don't know everything's going on, but just the way that they've interacted with like international affairs and issues, and how like the whole thing with Russia, just everything, like they just want such complete control. It's just,
I mean, that's true. I don't, to me, the data stuff is concerning, but this other stuff to me is a little more, just because I'm not a big conspiracy like person. Maybe they have access to this data, which is concerning, but I don't know if it's actually a cause. Like, I don't know if they're actually.
I mean, China was caught. They were caught stealing information, like engineering for, I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, no, that's for sure. But I'm saying like the typical user, I don't know what the fuck they're going to steal from me, my nudes. Like, I'm not worried.
Right. Yeah.
But for the average user, I understand why the Pentagon and all these people don't want it on their phone. For the average user, I mean, because there are some people who hate, like, I was never one of those people that people were like, I'm not using face, like, what is it? Face ID, because they're stealing my face. I'm like, they can steal my face. If they're stealing all these billions of other people's faces, they can have my face too. That's just my view on it. But to me, this other stuff is very concerning. Them using like psychology and addiction and all of this stuff to create an app to get people to keep using it at their detriment. And this is not the first time a company has not cared about its consumers. Clearly, I know that. Mm-hmm. But there has been nothing that has gotten this big like TikTok has gotten in a short amount of time by using this kind of stuff and catering to a younger audience. I don't think TikTok even intended that, but it's just like, if you're 40 years old, what the fuck are you doing scrolling on TikTok, listening to 18 people go Corvette? Like, you're less likely to do that than if you're 17. So that's why there's so many young users.
But they are. There's a lot of older people on TikTok now, more than people
are. But not like, okay, if 1 out of 4, okay, well, I remember before in 2020, I looked it up. The majority of their demographic is not 30 and up at all. It's like way younger, and there's a big chunk that's actually like under 20, which makes sense that those younger kids are more susceptible to watching really dumb shit. But I'm not saying everything on TikTok is stupid. I'm not saying that at all. And I think I think it's helped so many people with like small businesses grow and show people their product and show people their art or show people what kind of service they can provide. But what I don't like about it is that TikTok is just coming in and just like, it's literally destroying people's livelihoods, people's ability to put food on the table because somebody else reported. They're using this AI that is clearly not very accurate at determining which videos get taken down, which accounts get shut down. You don't have a way to like put in the same thing. Not at all.
I don't understand the question though.
I don't get that at all. How is that the same?
What is the same?
Yeah, you're going to have to show me what parallel you're making, because first of all, let's look at our critiques on TikTok and see which one is relevant to OnlyFans. Chinese government clearly out. Short form content out. Like, what are you talking about? Feeding on porn addiction? Because to me, Porn addiction has
making an addictive platform.
With OnlyFans. The only difference with OnlyFans, porn consumption is the same. The only difference is people making an addictive platform is what I'm talking about. Porn is addictive in general. People aren't consuming more porn because of OnlyFans. They're just changing the kind of porn they're consuming to actually value and compensate the people making it more and giving us control over our own content.
I don't think OF is addictive because it's not like that scrolling thing where it's like, you know what I mean?
OnlyFans
It's
is not shown to have a platform that is catering to the part of your brain that is addicted to that. Porn is addictive. I completely get that, but that's porn. If you can say OnlyFans is part of the porn industry, but unless you're talking about banning porn in general, or you want to talk about porn as a whole, that's another argument. But if you're talking about OnlyFans specifically, which has been a way to give creators rights over their own content and interact with our fans, completely stupid argument. I'm sorry. Yeah, TikTok is, I don't know how else to say it. To say that. Also, OnlyFans is 18 and over. Like, that's another thing. You have to be an adult on it. We don't worry about kids.
And I don't really see, like, there's some people that are on OnlyFans a lot. Like some, fans, they're always online or something. But most of them are not. Some people go off for days or weeks and then they come back.
Yeah, and some people use it in a healthy way. Some people may not use it in a healthy way, but if they weren't on our OnlyFans, they would be on porn sites. Porn was a thing before OnlyFans. Porn addiction was a thing before OnlyFans. I think what OnlyFans has done is it's given women an opportunity to profit off of it, and it's pissed off some people like here to ask a question.
All the porn stars who have been controlled by their management companies and giving most of their earnings to management companies should be going to OnlyFans instead. So
look at Mia Khalifa. Got $12,000 from Pornhub, and Pornhub has made billions off of her, and they won't take down her content because
Mia Khalifa.
Yeah, Mia Khalifa. Now she has her OnlyFans. She's making $10,000 a day off of not even posting explicit content because she has control over it.
Yeah, that's how it should be. Why should someone be selling her body?
Also, yes, safe sex work. OnlyFans for sex workers is much, much safer than other forms of sex work.
Yes, because you're in control. No one's forcing anyone to do this or taking their money.
It's your content. You can take it down at any time. You're getting paid. Yes, OnlyFans takes a cut, but that's understandable. It's you. It's verified. It's taxed. It's completely legal and safe way for sex workers to make money off of what they do without being beholden to these big porn sites like Pornhub, etc., that exploit young women in particular, like Mia Khalifa, who came in. They paid her $12,000 and they're still making billions off of her. And that's not so. I don't understand. I don't understand the hate towards OnlyFans. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But like I said in past podcast episodes, the people that don't like OnlyFans seem to be very vocal about it, which I think comes to a deeper issue. Like, nobody is this upset if they don't like bagels, like I said. Nobody constantly, I would never pay for bagels.
I don't think anyone here is like that. Hopefully.
No, but that comment, I think, is, and I like that. I like this kind of discourse. Please, if you have a disagreement with us, please tell us. But I am going to,
she's a lawyer. She's going to argue back with you.
I love arguing. Lana's the opposite. Lana's like, oh, these hate. I'm like, I love hate comments. Please give me more. You don't have to be an adult to be on OnlyFans for greater yes years, but nonetheless, I was referencing how you do have to be an adult. If you're stealing somebody else's credit card or you're lying about your age, that's not, because people do that. You have to be 18 and over to get on a porn site. We know people under 18 are accessing porn. I was just referencing how TikTok and OF both are platforms that can be destructive in their own ways. TikTok appeals to the addictive, repetitive, I think you meant repetitive nature for children, and OF does that for the lonely man. I guess what I'm saying is that's really up to the user, just like TikTok. Just like I completely disagree with this. OnlyFans, yes, sex sells, and sex has always sold, which is why we have the porn industry. So what OnlyFans did is it took the porn industry and they said, how about these women or these men that are making this kind of content, how about they make their own websites, their own platforms, and be in charge of it? If there are some people that use it because they're lonely, they would use porn.
That's different than a chemical reaction of the brain. Your chemical reaction of your brain when you get a dopamine rush, every time you even look at a text message, it's a dopamine rush. Ooh,
yeah.
That's different than, And that's why
buying
TikTok
a 5-minute video of me doing a strip tease, getting off on it, and then going on with your day, which is how a lot of people use it. I would not say that the majority, unless you're going to say the majority of people who consume porn are lonely. I don't see how the majority of people that consume OF content are lonely. I have actually told you guys.
Some of these guys are lonely because there's some of them.
The people on TikTok comments, they seem a lot more miserable and a lot more lonely than OF subscribers that clearly can spell, have proper grammar, are very polite, are very kind, and aren't miserable. The people on TikTok, the Andrew Tate fans, they seem to have a lot of those type of issues. I think you should check out my episode last week where I talked about the high levels of depression, suicidal thoughts, the correlation with autism in this male grievance movement that is very anti-OnlyFans, anti-women, anti all of that. They use TikTok all the time though. Yeah, not lonely. They need / want fantasy. Yeah, I mean, porn has been a thing forever, and people were like, "Oh, imagine if you could interact with your favorite porn star, see live streams of your favorite porn star, see exclusive message your favorite porn star."
I think that's healthier. I think, like, it's okay. Would you rather? Do you think it's healthy to fuck a prostitute that you don't even know her real name? And she can't hold a conversation. I think that's healthy too. Or do you think it's healthier to maybe have a friends with benefits situation that you kind of know the person a little bit? I think it's a little bit healthier to be able to have a mental or emotional connection with somebody that you're, getting intimate with. Not saying that's fine. You get what you need. You want to get a prostitute.
I mean, I spend a lot of time looking at prostitutes and their experience. I'm weird. I like this stuff. And a lot of them do build intimate with their regular, like, I don't think prostitution is bad. It's not for me.
And that's healthy. That's
bad at all.
To make connections is part of our, makeup. Like, we're supposed to, that's.
Yeah. And just like if you're following, why do people have Patreon accounts? Why do people have Substack? People, if you like a content creator and you like what they put out, why should you be shamed or called lonely or called all these things because you want to see more of them? In fact, I have so many people. I said this to Lana and I said this to a couple subscribers. I do not work with any management companies or anything. I answer all my OF messages myself. And I have built a fan base that really likes me for me. That is why they come watch this podcast. That is why they're like, oh, when are you going to put out a YouTube channel? I want to come watch your YouTube channel. So if you don't want to consume it and you're like, these are all just lonely men, you're probably alone. I'm just sorry. That's like what I get out of that.
Thanks, Tinder.
Have emotional needs met with a partner, but can't have their physical needs met by said partner. Yeah, people have special kinks. And that's another thing with OnlyFans. Porn stars, a lot of them were like a particular look. And you see OnlyFans girls killing it off of mom bods, off of stretch marks, off of all these different, they cater to a particular kink that people aren't comfortable with explaining to their partners or that they're not seeing in the porn industry. Girls with the huge tits. I know I have that look, but not everybody likes that look. Okay. Some people like different, some people like very skinny, thick, whatever. And
that's why I read it. There's every subreddit. There's skinny girls, petite gone wild. There's big boobies. There's big butts, there's whatever.
Yeah. And you can find a creator that really you like them and you want to consume more of their content. And to me,
that's is very true.
Different. Nobody has committed suicide on OnlyFans. Like, there's these issues that I'm talking about on TikTok are at all. Unless you want to talk about how TikTok is addictive and porn is addictive, that is the only argument I see at all.
And this is very true. I've had a fan on my page since I started, and he's like a younger guy with a girlfriend, and they've been living together for a year. Like, I don't know how long, but she just too busy for sex. He complains to me about it, and he's like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, I don't know, but he's like,
we're not here to be moral, And I even showed Lana, I am very strict with my moral code on my page. Like, somebody literally subscribed and they're like, and I get so many positive comments, but he said something negative. And then he's like, can I buy videos? I'm like, no, I don't work with people like you. I don't care if I lose out on the money. I want to sleep like a baby. I don't even know who that girl is, Drew, whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of times, be mindful of the content you choose to consume. I didn't know who Andrew Tate fucking was, and I probably would have never known who he was if I wasn't doing this for my job. There's so many bright, amazing content. They're not usually on TikTok, to be fair. They're usually on podcasts, or they have YouTube channels, or I mean, even like look at like Joe Rogan being so famous and having a great podcast. Joe Rogan has 3-hour conversations with people on his podcast. He doesn't have an 8-second clip. You know, he brings people that are, you know, have knowledge on so many different things, and he has long conversations where you can really learn, and you can challenge things, you can ask questions. And that's why I think he's so popular, because he was just a guy that was curious and is not afraid to ask difficult questions. I don't agree with everything he thinks, but that's not the point. I think that's the kind of, you know, and if he does, he might bring on people like Andrew Tate and be like, yo, so what's up? Why are you, you know,
and he was talking about TikTok too, remember?
Oh yeah, he actually came out with a thing on TikTok that went viral about all of the data that TikTok takes from you. So I mean,
they get the stuff from your, if you copy something, they get the information.
Like OnlyFans are really great instead of big productions. Yes, and I think that is what a lot of people have an issue with,
including cryptocurrency wallets. Where's that thing I sent you, because I can't scroll up on our messages for some reason.
What do you mean?
But it was saying how they got in trouble. They were, for one of the things with the copy and paste, they were getting information on people's Bitcoin wallets and things like that.
Yeah. They even get information if another device near you has the app and you don't have the app, they'll take the information and all your app information from your phone as well. It's crazy the amount of reach they have. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't know if other social media platforms do this as well. I do agree with Lana that it does sketch me out a little bit, that because here, you know, you do need a warrant. There is some order. I may not agree with everything. Obviously there are abuses of power that happen on the daily, but it's nothing compared to TikTok. It's nothing compared to Iran, where my family is from. It's very, very different. But yes, I think what you said, it's the model that gets the full value of what they put out. That upsets people. It upsets the Andrew Tate crowd. It deeply upsets these, you know, those are the people that are upset by it. Those are the lonely men.
Not because the men want to own us and all that stuff. Like even the management companies, and it's so fucked up. So there was, I was actually helping a management company, and I was helping them onboard girls. And so, like, just an example, one of the girls, she was under a management company. So they owned her OnlyFans account. They owned all the content that she made. She was like a mom. And after her milk, and like mommy milkers, and then after her milk ran dry, they're like, we don't need you anymore. Yeah. And then she didn't have any way to make money. She was like, fuck, what am I going to do now? And they kept all her content. They kept her page. She had to start over.
It changed so many people's lives, mine included. I'm so happy for it. That doesn't mean I don't have issues with the way they run things, but I think people are really mad that women, and like, literally those forums that I kind of showed you last week, they hate this. They go on rants when OF was about to ban explicit content and then they didn't. They're literally like, it's so unfair that these foids, that's what they call women if you weren't here last week, these foids can make all this money and I have to work for it and I have to do this and I have to do that. It's like,
oh my God. You just made me realize something. You know what?
What?
I bet you I'm not going to say the word. Okay, the people who refer to women as foids, I bet you that they have an army on TikTok.
Oh, no, that's they literally talk about it in their
Those are the ones probably reporting us more than anybody. Is this army of
they support shootings. You think they don't support getting us taken down on TikTok? And I know that's an extreme. Actually, I would say that group is growing, not maybe the extreme people that want to like kill people and are homicidal, but this effect of it like coming out into the Andrew Tates, etc. They love Andrew Tate. Oh my God, you should literally search Andrew Tate incels.
I don't know who he is. Like, I have to look him up, but I'm
Um,
gonna
I
do
had no idea who he was until people kept mentioning him on TikTok. Like I said, I was almost embarrassed. I was like, Andrew Tate, is this some type of prime minister? Some like, I don't know who the fuck this is, but so many people are talking about it. It must be relevant. And then I looked at it and then I kept seeing it on the forums, the incel forums. And then I was like, okay, let me look into this. And I became obsessed because I was like, oh my God, this is such a good insight into kind of the stuff I'm interested in. I'm very interested in male psychology right now, and to me that is a perfect. And again, when I go out in public and I meet a successful normal person, I'm like, Andrew Tate, they're like, who? They just started hearing about him because he's banned, not even from what he was saying earlier.
Yeah, I still don't know about him.
I found out last week who he was, not my type of bro. Exactly. And then you should see his fan. They're like, he's based, he's this, he's that. People are like, him getting banned, it proves he's right. I'm like, look, I am not for censorship at all. I am not for censorship at all. But if you think getting banned means you're right, like if somebody just came on and they were like, I love slavery, I love
Well,
slavery.
then I should keep flashing on there because I got banned.
Their point about slavery more correct? No. What kind of the logical fallacies in these people are rampant. And I again, I don't want to pick on them because I do think some of them actually just have naturally lower IQs. But the point is, there are people that are susceptible to this, especially young men who don't do well with women that do really are like, yeah, you know what? It is unfair that these women make all this money off of OnlyFans. And we used to get it for free. And now they're charging us. We deserve it for free. Nobody likes us. And then it like, report, show us your boob. I'm like, no, I'm not showing you my boob. If you want to see that kind of stuff, follow me on other socials. Report. Like, that's literally what happens.
Oh my goodness, this guy's trying to no.
Yeah, he's probably in that crowd. He's going to be gone. But Tate is just another one of these manospheres types. I feel
Epic,
like
if you want that kind of stuff, you're gonna have to go to our naughty pages, not here for that.
So it's just another one of these manosphere types. I feel like we'll get another one of these. Oh yeah, of course we're gonna get a lot of these characters. He's not even necessarily the problem himself, right? It's the people that are consuming his content and how that mindset. And I mean, you know what it is? It's that the people that are consuming his content are people that need the help and his advice isn't going to work. There's the argument that some of the stuff he says will, like we talked about this with emotional intelligence, but they're not the people, like the people that are consuming his content are not at any more likelihood to get laid now. In fact, that's probably their chances have decreased. So I don't know what he might make you feel warm and fuzzy inside because he's talking. He's like, yeah, he's male grievance. You know, he might be making you feel warm and fuzzy inside, but he's not helping you in any type of way. I make the comparison between him and Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson actually does have some when he talks about the importance of exercise, the importance of whatever, all of that stuff. Because I mean, Jordan Peterson actually is educated. I don't agree with a lot of stuff he says. I think he's obsessed with gender and he's obsessed with, he cries 24/7 for no, he's like crazy, but
Who is this? I'm so curious. He cries.
He cries all the time. Oh my God. Literally I feel like every 5 seconds Jordan Peterson talks, he's crying. I mean, that's okay. I have no issue with people crying, but it's also like, bro, like just put out content without crying. I know we're a very nice body by the got gifted. Thank you to me or Lana, whoever that compliment is geared towards. Prime Minister. Yeah, I literally was like, who the fuck is Andrew Tate? And I just kept seeing comment after comment after comment. And I was almost like, am I supposed to know who this is? Because I started hearing it. People were talking about the Dobbs decision so much with abortion, which I'm really into. I mean, obviously from my background. And then I would see right after Andrew Tate. I was like, is Andrew Tate some policymaker? What? I was like so confused. Tate in the Manosphere gets lots of views. This is clear. There's clearly a giant market. Yes, there is a giant market for this type of thing because there's also a lot of men in this predicament, which is why I'm interested in it. I wouldn't be interested in it if it wasn't becoming a phenomenon, obviously. I'm not just finding some fringe thing that only a few people are into. I'm finding something that is there. I'm finding something that is appealing to a lot of people. I'm trying to figure out why it's appealing to a lot of people, trying to understand the psychology behind this audience. Because yes, his audience are not this, you know, Mark Zuckerberg when he was young was not listening to people like Andrew Tate. Any successful person when they were young were not consuming this kind of content. And people who are very successful in the dating arena are also not listening to Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is specifically catering to lonely, single, angry men and fueling that in a negative way instead of in a positive way, which is also what the incel community does. We talked about the 3 R's of radicalization. The 3 N's of radicalization last week. Need. People need to feel needed. They don't feel a need. They don't feel important. Okay. Narrative. The narrative explains why you're not getting your needs met and the reason behind it. It's not your fault. It's external. It's the women. That's why. And then network. Andrew Tate helps with the network part.
So sad.
Man with low self-esteem. Yeah. Everyone who listens to Andrew Tate and likes what he says has low self-esteem. There's no especially because a lot of his stuff, and maybe I'm biased because I'm very good at figuring out logical fallacies. But his logical fallacies are so rampant that even people that don't have to be very good at it can catch it. So if you don't catch it, it's because you don't want to catch it with somebody like him. He's not a Jordan Peterson. He's not a Ben Shapiro. He's not one of these people that's actually good at hiding logical fallacies. He's not even good at it. I literally heard him say, he's like, I want a male pilot over a female pilot because if the plane crashes, the male pilot's going to be better at it. And the people were like, well, why? And he's like, well, from my experience, men are just better in that's what you're going off of, your experience.
He sounds like just a straight chauvinist.
Huh? Oh, he is.
Like a straight chauvinist.
And that's what's like, because I think like with the Jordan Peterson types, we can have some productive dialogue. With the Andrew Tate type, there's no productive dialogue, but I think they speak to this. And sometimes this does turn dangerous, right? We see a lot of acts of craziness. They're done by men who all have these traits in common. They're not successful with women. They're outcasted by society. They feel wronged.
He also religious?
Andrew Tate?
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson is dishonest in the way that he talks about religion, but I don't know about Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate does use religion a lot. He literally advocates for, like, when he's using his evidence for his claims is the Bible and the Quran, which are filled with misogyny and have no basis in reality at all. So I'm already like, I'm done with this conversation. But all these people online are like, yeah, I'm like, are we about to get a bunch of converts?
Yeah, that's how it is in a lot of religions. Like, and it's even in Judaism too. Like,
my fingernail.
The Orthodox community it's very against women, and it's very. My mom actually, she was like volunteering for. It was like a women shelter. It was like a shelter basically for women that came from Orthodox Jewish homes.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like cast out, or like there's so much like sexual abuse. Like, it's not just the Catholic Church; it's the rabbis too.
You're never going to hear me promote any of these ancient mythical books for multiple reasons, but also for that reason. So Andrew Tate, this modern guy, his basis, his evidence for all of this is that, well, it's in the Bible and the Quran. Like, and
oh my God, haven't you seen what happens?
TikTok.
We are really running shit. Like, yes, men are still in charge, but we can do everything that they can do. They can't do everything that we can do. Sorry, no offense. Because, okay, maybe there's women who are just as strong as men.
Okay, but
physically,
men are on average stronger. Yes.
Yes, definitely.
But I think what Andrew Tate fails at, which is something he talks about all of this. Remember how I talked about last week, how incels are very concerned with primitive, primal, like they talk about seeing men and wanting to be in Mortal Kombat, and they talk about men like this very old, traditional, almost like barbaric, Neanderthal version of men and women. Andrew Tate feeds on that too. Men are stronger. We're able to. But the thing is, those are not the traits that make you prosper in 2022.
No one said
very,
the
very
Bible
is very, very physically strong. What is he going to do?
Nobody said that the Bible is anti-women.
Okay, we'll get to that in a second. But what I want to finish my point. Men who are just very physically strong or have these male attributes are actually not men that are successful in today's society. Right? Look at the richest men in our world, the most successful men in our world are not even, they don't look like Andrew Tate, right? They look like normal people. Being intelligent gets you far. Being collaborative gets you far. Learning how to work as a team gets you far. Being able to be a leader gets you far. None of these things are about brute physical strength and owning women or whatever. These traits don't get you far in 2022, and that's another thing. But the men that think that women don't like them because they're not 6'4", and the men that think that women don't like them because they don't have muscles are going to hear Andrew Tate and they're going to be like, yeah, right. Look at what I put up last week about the guy who was trying to prove that women don't care about personality, and I pointed out all of the fallacies in that. It's the same thing. Haha, the Bible isn't it. Okay. I don't even know what to say about that.
We came from a man's rib. Why does the Bible when we are the ones that gave birth?
What would you say?
Why does the Bible say that we came from a man's rib? Why
does the Bible say anything stupid that it says? Why does it say that we came from Adam and Eve? And now even like I think the Pope is like, oh, that's a metaphor because we have so much evidence for evolution. Like the Bible has more and more.
The Bible does promote male like superiority. To go and read it.
The Bible has to fill in less and less gaps as science improves, and so now a bunch of things that they thought were fact are now a metaphor. Now even heaven and hell are supposed to be metaphor. I don't even know. Everything is a metaphor depending on what you think.
If you believe in some man in the sky who's like orchestrating everything, like you should die. Oh, I'm honest, you shouldn't die because you're blessed. But this person who died, they're blessed too. No, they're not.
What are you talking about? The comment under that? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to trust a man more if I'm hanging on a cliff to bring me back over. Okay, exactly. This is what I want this comment up. People are thinking, how often are human beings hanging off a cliff? Like, this is what I mean. Who is actually in this predicament? Most of us are living our lives. We have jobs. We're going to the grocery store and we go hiking in a very safe environment. If you're okay, true. If I'm hanging off of a cliff, I would prefer a man to be there as well. My likelihood of hanging off a cliff for my life is very, very low. And so these men that are looking at this one situation of brute strength, I'm sorry, you guys may have been better suited back, in the old ages when people were just killing each other based off brute strength, but that is not the way to prosper in 2022. But you can hang on to that. Great. If you're hanging off a cliff, I'm sorry. I hope you survive and I hope a man is there to save you. But the rest of us are just, trying to pay our bills.
Most likely, you probably are hanging off that cliff because fucking that testosterone kicked in and those two men are probably trying to kill each other. So they're probably not going to help you back up.
The amount of people that have hung off a cliff for their lives in the past year versus the amount of people that are trying to start businesses, trying to be entrepreneurs. Brute strength does not help you in either of those things. Physical attractiveness, I'm not saying that is not a factor, but I understand that men feel upset that a lot of their even learning, even schools, I heard this argument years ago that schools are more conducive to things women are good at, like collaborative efforts, working as a team, et cetera. These things women are usually better at, and people were mad because they're like, oh, men learn better this way, women learn better this way, and they're making it cater towards women. I agree that they should have a lot of different learning styles available for people to learn. But that's also the things that make you successful nowadays is learning how to collaborate, learning how to do these things, being an entrepreneur. If you're hanging off a cliff, then you have bigger things to worry about. The rest of us aren't hanging off a cliff. So these are things that are pertinent to us and our flourishment.
Yeah. And I don't, I'm not saying, oh, women, we can do it all. We don't need men. Da, 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 da. No, we both need each other. And that's why I organize religion in the way they put women below. And the Quran is like that's one of the few that does that. So it's not like, yeah. And it's just when they see women becoming more strong, more powerful, more, in control of their lives, they don't like that.
It's kind of like, you always need to blame the other for your grievances, right? So we see this with, immigrants are coming in, they're taking our jobs. You need to blame the outer group. If you're not being successful with women, women are creating the reason we're not successful with them, etc. And these stories were told to create a moral ground to control society. I talked about this last week. Nietzsche's conception of slave morality is like all I think about when I think of this thing. Morality created solely in opposition to something you want. That's literally where their morality comes from. Their morality was created to oppose what they actually want and the people they can't be. So now those things are bad.
Yeah, women's rights have just been created, in the last 100 years. Women were, and still in a lot of different places, a lot of different countries, and even still in this country, women are not treated as equals. Women are paid less money. Women are the ones in a lot of office settings. Women are the ones picking up all the pieces and doing most of the work, and the men are fucking off. And this is not everyone.
No, I will say
this is really common.
I have to be honest, the stats on that are shaky.
I'm saying in my experience, so
this is just her experience.
Yeah, in my experience, it's also it is proven that, in a lot of companies that a woman will get paid less for the same position as a man. So we're still trying to make our way and still trying to,
certain industries, yes, but also women are more likely to enter into industries that because of, their mothers, et cetera, which is why, you guys, I want to do a podcast episode on why I will argue that what we do for a living is actually the best form of the evolved woman being able to procure resources for her and her offspring by not going into these work environments that are conducive to male flourishment, because a lot of us do want families. Lana's a mother. She can't go run a Fortune 500 company and go be in the office all day, right? Men are able to do that more easily than women. So while women have had a great strides in being able to be in the workplace and have that, I think for me that doesn't work. So I'm like, what can I do? So I'm going to use my more feminine, like, I don't believe in masculine traits, feminine traits, but if you believe in that, a lot of those things that make you like, being aggressive, all of those things, those are not part of me. Like, they are clearly, I'm aggressive in some ways, but being able to procure resources better than I would at a Fortune 500 company. Not if I was a CEO, but
yeah,
I think if you're not being successful with women is because you're an ugly person to be around and you're just not educated and you're just lazy, and most women are attracted to that. So, to a degree, I'm not saying that, especially like when I talked about how a lot of incels are also on the spectrum, et cetera, they're socially awkward. Those things definitely do play a role into it, but this idea that it's all outside of me, I have no control over it. Women suck, and it's society and the power that they've given women to.
Or they think it's people who are not super attractive, and that's just so false.
How many times have you guys been out and seen a very unattractive man with a very attractive woman? You see that way more than the reverse, in my opinion.
Women want to date down because they don't want to get cheated on.
I don't necessarily think that's true. I think women don't value look the same way that men do. Women are more likely to value intellect. They're more likely to value status. They're more likely to value stability than look. So when you see these women that are very attractive they probably make up for it in those other traits. I don't think it's because they don't want to get. Some women maybe, but I wouldn't say on a grand scale that.
A work argument. Well, not with me. I'm a very feisty person. I'm not like. I'm calm like a bomb. Let's just say that. Like,
We can get heat if there's a girl in the midst. We have to calm down because we're gonna intimidate her. Was told that by management. I don't know what argument you're trying to make by that. I don't know what industry you're in and every industry is different. Obviously our industry is run by women, except when management companies want to come in, but it's every industry may be a little bit different. If you were told that by management, that's an actual serious issue that you could probably, look into. Sorry, I'm French. English is my second language. No worries. The point, I don't know how we got on this. This episode took a turn, but
we're talking about men and women. No more TikTok. But we have like
we're
10
just
more
talking about men again and all this, which I don't want every episode to be about this, but
men and women. It's
I
so
think what happened is
interesting,
we're
right?
talking about TikTok, and what happened is somebody talks about the OF and TikTok, trying to compare the two, which I think nobody would compare something like that unless they had those type of feelings towards women inside, to be like, oh, well, women are profiting off of lonely men. Okay, how is that even, first of all, even if that was true, how is that related to the global phenomenon of TikTok stealing data, having young viewers, like literally live streaming suicides? Like all of the stuff we talked about is not relevant. The Pentagon, people that work at the Pentagon are able to use OnlyFans. They're not able to use TikTok.
No, we know what you mean by ugly person, because
yeah, of course. If you call us voids, why the fuck would we fuck you?
Come on, if we're nothing but a female void. I mean, that's just such a shallow way to think about people in general. Like, I know, and
that group is special in that they have a lot of psychological comorbidities, but that sentiment bleeds out, right? Those are the people that are talking about Andrew Tate. The people in Harvard Medical School are not. Like, you know, they're doing different things with their lives. In fact, I know a lot of people at Ivy League schools that are pursuing really great degrees, and even when they're not super attractive and doing great with women, they have no idea who Kevin Samuels was when he died, and they have no idea who Andrew Tate was until recently when he got banned.
Yeah, I believe what this comment too about TikTok, that's true. But I mean, with the men and women thing, as much as I'm like I promote, like, you know, I'm not a feminist per se, but I do have some feminist views in a way. But I'm also like, you know, when I'm talking to you, I'm like, I'm a little bit more traditional. Like, I am like, when I'm with somebody, I'm like, you're the man, you take out the garbage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's just
well, just so you know, if you're hanging off a cliff for your life, then men are better equipped for that. Those degrees won't matter in today's workforce. I vehemently disagree with that.
What degrees?
In like high-powered degrees. In fact, that is the argument everyone's making against student. They're like, oh, all these people are in grad school and they're projected to be making crazy six-figure and up incomes, and why don't they have to pay back their debt? I don't agree with that argument, but that's been even recently shown that if you do go get, and not always, but especially if you're in an Ivy League school, I will tell you, in law school, if you go to a T14 school, which is the top 14 schools, you are pretty much guaranteed a path into big law, which, depending on where you are, can sometimes start at $200,000 a year. It can go up like crazy. So
you can't even be an attorney without a degree. There's lots of jobs you can get without a degree.
In California,
is not one of them. A doctor is not one of them.
Yeah, no, for you to say that anesthesiologists and brain surgeons don't matter, the people who have a medical degree and are brain surgeons that don't matter in today's workforce. If you're talking about college degrees in like gender environmentalist theory, okay, I see your point. But I'm talking about high-powered degrees from Ivy League schools that are making.
And it's not even in accounting. Like in accounting, like when I had a fresh, I don't know what it's called, someone straight out of college. These people don't know what the heck they're doing. They can't even write a check. They're like,
so you're making the opposite argument as me? What are you making?
Yeah, that's with accountants. I mean, like, you know, it's totally different. Like, you need to know the law.
I'm not even saying that the people that graduate from these schools know anything better. I'm just saying that you can't deny that if you have a law degree from Yale Law School, that doesn't matter when you're trying to get a job as a lawyer.
Oh, fuck yeah. If someone sees that, they're going to be impressed. When you wear a shirt that says Harvard on it, people like my crazy ex-girlfriend.
One of the best degrees to get right now, health, computers, technology. You need to go to. Yeah, no, I agree with his second thing. You don't have to go to these schools, but I also think depending on your major and depending on how much prestige matters. So, like for instance, there's like 200 law schools in our country. If you're not in the first tier or at least the second tier, the top 100, your chances for good employment plummet. Versus if you go to Yale, you're good. You're literally good. If you go to Columbia Law School, you will have a six-figure income as soon as you come out of it. That's what I'm talking about. If you're talking about degrees like outside of these type of fields, I do think health, These are great degrees to get. Computers, anything tech, even trade school. I think trade school is really undervalued. You can get really good jobs.
Any occupation that you choose, if you are, if you become an expert in your field and you do it well, then you should have the same respect as someone who went to Yale.
Yeah, no, and I'm not even saying that translates to skill, but it translates to the ability to get a job. A law firm, at least in law, for sure, the school you go to matters. If you're trying to work at the biggest law firm on the East Coast, you have a far less likely chance of getting hired there, regardless of your skill set, if you go to a random law school that nobody has ever heard of. I do think college, getting us handing out degrees in like Beyonce dance theory, yeah, I don't know what you're going to really do with that degree, but
yeah, this is my experience too. I work in accounting, so the people fresh out of college, they don't know what to do in that field, especially because they learn everything on the job.
Also, depending on your degree, some degrees and some that like teach you how to think. Like philosophy is a great example of this. People that get a degree in philosophy, people are like, "What's it? That's a useless degree." Philosophy majors score amazingly on so many entry tests to get into other like law school, like the LSAT. You have to take the LSAT to get into law school. Philosophy majors and people that major in like math and these like really ways that help you think, find logical fallacies, solve puzzles, solve thought experiments. They just gave themselves a skill that will help them just in life. I'm not saying that maybe you should empty your bank account and take out a loan to go do that. You don't have to. You can learn it in other ways, but I don't think it renders the degree useless. If you learned, literally some of these TikTok commenters, you guys should just go get a degree, because maybe when your teacher circles your 100 times and is like, this is the wrong version, at least you learn how to fucking write. What do you think about some women sexually? I don't think that's possible. What do you mean sexually objectify? You're gonna have to depack.
Like women like us? Is that what you're saying?
But I mean, what do you think? I love comments like this. These comments make me really excited because then we can talk about it. What do you mean about women sexually objectifying themselves? So like for one instance, what I do, I make content. It doesn't make me uncomfortable. It doesn't not align with my values, and I'm able to make a great living and be able to prosper and be happy and be financially stable and not work in a law firm, not have to wake up early, not have to have a boss. So if that's what you're thinking about, I think it's great if women want to sexually objectify themselves and be happier and healthier.
But if they're doing it for no money and they're just doing it to please men or whoever,
if that makes you happy, go for it.
Yeah, unless it's from trauma.
Look, we can talk about the psychological. Like, I do think that'd be really interesting. If I do go get a PhD in psych, which I'm considering, I would want to talk. I love this topic. Like, does having multiple partners, I want to learn about the actual science. Does that negatively impact you psychologically? I think there's pretty good chance that it does.
I mean, if they're doing sexually objectifying themselves, that should hint right there. So that's their choice, right?
I think it's a kind of my argument on exploitation. You are exploiting everything. Like, what do you think about somebody objectifying their voice to become a singer? What do you think about?
We have our answer.
Show themselves on OnlyFans.
We support it 100,000%. We support it. You know why? Because it's their bodies. They can do what they want. And if they're comfortable with it, then they can do that. And if they're doing this to make a living so they can support themselves, support their family, move up in the world, buy a home, invest, and just live the life that they wanted to live, these women are able to do what they want to do, live how they want, and they're happy. So we support them and we support ourselves.
So Lana has a more like surface look. For me, I just go super deep. So show themselves on OnlyFans in a sexual way. Why is showing yourself in a sexual way wrong? Where did you get that from? Did you get that from the Bible? Did you get that from society? Did you get that from your parents? Did you get
the Bible? 100%.
Where did you get that from? And then I want to start from there. And you should watch our second episode on, is sex work immoral? For me, when I hear Lana say that, though, because I am very open about this, because I truly don't see it as immoral. Lana, do you see it as something that even though it's a little bit wrong, it can have so many benefits that makes it okay? Or do you see it as something like I do, where I'm like, to me, it's literally the same thing as being a singer or an athlete or providing any service in general at all, because I don't correlate morality at all to what you do with your body.
For me, it's not morality. It's more like, well, two things. Society hasn't fully accepted it yet. So they're going to be, judgmental. Treat you a certain
and that judgment to you bothers you. Okay.
Yeah. And second, when too many people know about that, like men, and you just don't want that. I mean, I don't want like these men like trying to find me or trying to pursue me because they know that I do that.
Yeah. Okay. I like some of these questions. So he said, I have a feeling you support my body, my choice when it comes to abortion. I don't support abortion because of my body, my choice. I think there's a great argument for it's your body. You don't have the choice to go kill somebody who's alive. I think the my body, my choice argument needs to be looked at as like a balancing, right? So this is your body. There is something in it. Now, when does it become like I made this argument last time, like, okay, if there's a box of zygotes and there's a 5-year-old child and there's 1,000 zygotes in here and there's a 5-year-old child and you can only save one, are you going to save the box of zygotes? Or are you going to save the full human being that has conscious ability, is viable, can feel pain? No, you're going to pick this one. So that already proves that there is some nuance here. I know people like to look at things black and white, but there is some nuance here. So there is a difference between abortion early on when this is zygote versus 9 months, right? So that already shows that it's a balancing test. So I don't think
there's a difference between having an abortion and multiple abortions.
I don't think
that. And do you support birth control? Because come on, we don't really need billions of more people. I mean, the earth it's already and this is scientifically proven.
Lit World Chris said, if you actually look at the data, most women who do porn end up being most depressed down the road. I don't think that's accurate. But even if it was,
ones like Mia Khalifa who were not making any money and they're just making porn for these little bits of money and then it was taken from them.
So there's two things here. One is how about let's look at state data from women in other industries. Let's look at how happy women are who are, doing other careers as well. A. B, there could be something there. Like I said, it could be psychologically damaging for some women, but does that make it immoral? Just because something's bad for you? Does being bad for you? What kind of paternalistic government or people do we want to say, oh, you know what? It's really bad for you to work out in the sun all day. And so let's not do construction. Construction's bad for you. Are people that do construction it can cause a lot of physical harm. A
lot of people in the construction industry have addiction.
You're going to get fucked from slamming into each other. Is that immoral? So there's also a distinction between what's good for you and what's moral that people don't seem to have when it comes to sex work. They're like, oh, these women are doing something so terrible for their bodies, therefore it shouldn't be allowed because I determined that it's not good.
Yeah, Mia Khalifa is depressed. How do you know she's depressed?
She does talk about that, but she talks about being taken advantage of by the porn industry.
Yeah, that explains why she was taken advantage of. And I promise you that people are depressed whether they do porn or not. It's just the way the world is.
A lot of people are depressed and not all of them do porn, but that's not what we're talking about. Whether even if there is a link between women who do this kind of work and depression, does that therefore mean that we should not allow women to do it?
No, they should be able to make the conscious choice. If this is affecting your mental health, like TikTok affects our mental health. So we need to make the conscious decision as grown-up women to, use it in a different way or not.
People are different. Some people really, maybe they feel the societal views do impact them. People calling them a whore. Mia Khalifa talks about that mostly. She's like, everywhere I go, people make fun of me. They call me a whore. They call me a slut. You don't think these things contribute to the depression? Or do you think it's just the fact that she had sex on camera by itself? That is the only contributing factor to that? Or do you think social stigma, all of these things? I'm very interested in this in so many, even when it comes to transgender people and all that, where they have such high rates of depression and suicide. I want to know, okay, is part of that because of, this condition, or is part of that because of social, views around it? We don't know the data on this, but I'm not denying the fact that for some people, I also think we need to separate the type of sex work you do. So for me, online sex work does not affect my mental health. I'm good.
But other girls doing
OnlyFans, having multiple partners, that would, because I don't even have multiple partners in my own life. I've never had multiple partners. I don't feel good. I don't even like having casual sex. I listen to my body and I make decisions for my own body, and everybody should do that. And it doesn't look the same for everybody. Some people are doing that.
And I've known lots of girls who do say like they're taking a mental health break from OnlyFans. And I know, and you know why it is? Because they talk about this in the communities. It's because of the way some of the fans treat them.
Sometimes. I'm not denying the fact, though, that maybe there could be a link. I know that if you're doing like actual escorting services, that may be an extra factor on top of things. People are different. Some people hate comments. They hate them. I love hate comments. So people are just different. So somebody said, if it is proven that a certain industry is more exploitative and contributes to its participants having a higher rate of mental health issues than others, then surely that industry can be considered immoral. No? Okay, well, if that's the case, all of your big industries that are making money off paying people like 2 cents a fucking day with these sweatshops, we still consume all that, So I think if it's proven that a certain industry is more exploitative and contributes to we can pinpoint that part of it, right, without taking down the baby with the bathwater. So in a lot of cases, when sex work is illegal and women aren't able to report when things happen to them, when women aren't able to report when people rob them, beat them, rape them because of what they're doing is illegal, don't we think that may be contributing to some of these terrible things that are happening? Maybe in other countries, like Denmark is a good, or was it Denmark? There's a couple countries that have legalized sex work, and it has completely shifted a lot of these things. And we've seen all that go down. So it's not always the work inherently itself, although it also could be. I'm not saying that it can't be. I'm not here.
Right, like with like construction. Yeah, and like,
why are those different?
I know personally of people who worked in the construction industry and they have addiction issues, and it's not because of the work they do. I find it, I think construction workers, I think they're like the hottest. Okay, so, but
why are they different? I don't get it. Can someone tell me why working in construction and people doing porn are two different things?
It's hard on your body. I mean, it's hard on your body. It's a lot of work. I mean, that's a whole other
I see why they're different. I see why they're different in that being a cook and being a teacher is I see that. But why are they two different things in that sense? Okay, I talked about this. Being a lawyer. Lawyers have such high rates of depression, suicide, alcoholism, etc. Are we going to get rid of lawyers? Are we going to say that the industry is inherently immoral because they are less happy and they are being exploited and they are more likely to go into all these terrible things and kill themselves than other industries? Some people thrive as lawyers. We can address maybe some of the issues that may be causing some of this stuff in people, but we're not going to throw out the whole industry. It's funny how people like to do this just with sex work, but they don't like to do it in all these other industries. How many people are miserable at their jobs? How many people are being exploited in their jobs by people who don't care about them? I'd rather exploit myself than be exploited by my boss.
I have to get going, you guys.
Oh, I'm having so much fun.
I know, this is getting heated.
Let's get through these comments. Okay. This lit world, Chris. Women who end up in porn industry have a past of emotional and physical abandonment. I've already suffered from depression that continues to happen after they leave the industry. Okay, I talked about this on one of my episodes. I do think there is a link here. There is. Women that do this are more likely to have had that happen in the past. I think a lot of that also has to do with the stigma. Oh, this is a fatherless activity. This is this type of activity. So then women who are more like fatherless are like, okay, look at me though. I have a great relationship with my father. I'm highly educated. I have the ability to do anything I want. I could be a lawyer. I am a licensed attorney, and I choose to do this, and I don't have any of these kind of issues. So that's not the case for everybody, and I'm doing the same kind of work that's supposed to inherently be psychologically damaging. Now, maybe I have a different psychological makeup. Things don't bother me that maybe bother other people. I don't link morality to that. A lot of people haven't even done the critical thinking work to not link morality to modesty. So if you haven't done that and you think what you're doing is bad and you think what you're doing means you have no morals, of course that's going to affect you. So I don't know 100% if there is like I said, maybe women having multiple partners does negatively impact you. I don't know that. But all I know is that posting stuff online, I would say there could be negative, like people finding you, people making fun of you, people not respecting you. These things can bullying you. These things can probably negatively. I mean, look at influencers online. How many of them go get depressed? How many YouTube videos do you see of people that are like, I'm so sick of the hate, etc. They're not even showing their body.
When you have a lot of people, like when you have a lot of people judging you, just like some of these, I'm not going to say names, but there's some really, famous OnlyFans girls who I see them withering away, like just their mental health is withering away the more, and they're on social media and they look at all the comments and then they reply to these negative comments a lot. I think social media.
Not only OnlyFans girls, beauty influencers, any type of influencer deals with this too. I mean, look at people like some of the biggest, I mean, I like beauty. So like Jaclyn Hill, all of this, like they have gone through the gutter because of their platforms online. So if you want to say just having any, but people don't say that. People don't say that. People don't say, oh, putting yourself online to sell makeup is exploitive and it's linked to depression, or being a lawyer is linked to depression. It's only porn and sex workers. And it's funny because think about why you're singling them out. And I promise you, it probably doesn't have to do because you care about how depressed they are.
No, I don't think anyone's really comparing construction and sex work.
I am. So, I'm comparing because you guys are telling me that doing sex work is bad for you and therefore we should immoral, but nobody said construction for some people, if you're doing it a long period of time, it's hard on your body. It can also be bad for you. Being an athlete can be bad for you.
Yeah. And I guess if you're a prostitute and you have people inside of you, typically OnlyFans girls, like I don't have any, no BG content on my page, none on her page. And a lot of the people are filming with their partner.
So okay, I always have a different thing to say than Lana in this episode. So for this, depends on the kind of sex work. So if you are looking at, I love like Soft White Underbelly is my favorite channel on YouTube. You guys should check him out. He interviewed fentanyl addicts and prostitutes on Skid Row, Figueroa Street, all of that. Those women are fentanyl addicts. And they are at risk for all of this stuff. The porn industry, in fact, even these high-end brothels, he did an interview with high-end brothels in like outside of Vegas where it's legal. They are tested to a fucking they literally have to be extremely physically healthy to even be.
The porn stars too, aren't they? They're all tested and they sleep with the same.
And now with the onset of online sex work, like what we do, nobody has been inside of me. Like literally I've had sex with 3 people in the last 4 years. So like, I think that's way less than like the average woman. So it's not necessarily that all sex work requires you to jump into random cars and get diseases.
No, jumping into cars. We're literally at home by ourselves in our phone.
I literally don't even see men. I probably see men like once a week if I'm like just out in public. But those women that are in those predicaments, maybe with drug addiction and other things that are contributing to them doing more high risk type of sex work, there are contributing factors. But sex work in general, especially when you're talking about OnlyFans, does not require multiple people to be in you at all. In fact, nobody has ever been in me on my OnlyFans page. I know a lot of people are upset about that, but that's just what I'm comfortable with at this time to protect me and my mental health and my everything. And I am thriving. I'm much happier than I was when I was being a lawyer.
I'm sorry, you guys. I have to go. I don't know if you have to go too, Jazmen.
I probably do soon. I just want to get through a couple of these. Construction is manual physical labor. You can't compare it to the porn industry. I mean, that's physical labor too. So, again, let me know. Anything. I mean, it's like the statement Mia Khalifa did. You're selling your body, and she said the military is literally selling their body to the government. So you may say, oh, well, they're doing it for a good cause. They're saving humanity. Again, questionable. But second of all, it is manual physical labor. You can't compare. What are you doing as a sex worker? It's labor. Manual physical labor. I am physically taking pictures of myself. I'm physically sitting on live stream. You're telling me there's actual people that will pay to talk shit on your OnlyFans? No, usually the people on our OnlyFans aren't doing that. It's people like in TikTok or here, etc. But not as much here. Oh, my battery.
Unbelievable. I can vouch. I don't know. I don't know her every move or anything, but this girl she's literally
You might
either
see like somebody as sex
making
positive as me.
we talk like all day every day for months.
My charger in.
And she's either like researching some stuff on the deep dark web, doing TikToks, making content.
The fact that you think I'm lying because you have automatic stereotypes in your head of what attractive women do or women are OnlyFans just shows how ignorant you are and how likely you are to use your primitive brain to put people into categories instead of using conscious reasoning to work through some shit. As someone as sex positive as me, I wish I had sex with more people. I just don't like to. I would love for someone to make me want to have sex with them. Y'all just don't turn me on as of late, so I'm stuck pleasing myself.
I don't even understand how this is being compared though. What?
He's literally comparing someone on. No, what I mean is, I'm saying that people are saying it's bad for you because you're objectifying yourself. I'm saying if you're working in the hot sun doing physical labor, isn't that bad for your body too? Isn't that worse for your body?
Very hard on your body. You're
in my air-conditioned facility, making probably 30 times as much as these construction workers are making, being able to afford anything I want to afford, sitting in my room, having complete autonomy over when I start working, when I stop working, what pictures I put out, what pictures I don't put out. I think it's way less damaging to my body.
So she's comparing it, saying it's not the same. She's not comparing it, saying it's the same.
What I'm saying is when people say that's labor, what you guys are doing isn't manual labor, I say it's manual labor too. It's just more convenient, less strain on our body, better pay, better everything. I would rather be an OF star than a construction worker any day, personally. You can do what you want. Okay, I'm going to get through just the comments that are here now, and then we're going to get off because, yeah, this is really long. But I like this stuff. I'm probably going to get on TikTok Live and continue talking about this stuff. I could be working while watching Twitch on my TV. And Jazmen, you are your own boss. I am my own boss. So nobody is going to be able to tell me what to do with my body. No one can tell me I have to build a house. Nobody can tell me I have to go to war. Nobody has to tell me I choose. And I make good enough money that if I decided to take the next year off OF, I would still be able to pay all my bills because I'm doing a type of work and I'm charging the type of money that I feel like I deserve, and that's enough for me to make a decent.
Yeah, and I think we can both agree that this is true. Yes, OF is not difficult like construction, not even close. You can't. You can't compare working in the hot sun, wrecking your body, risking dying with OnlyFans. No,
risking dying. Tell me an OF star that has died from the content.
Exactly. No, it's not. Like we're not. I mean, no, that's a very hard job. Those guys should get paid way more money than they do, even though a lot of them do make really good money.
What Mia Khalifa said, people joining the military, selling their bodies to the government, you have a much higher chance of dying in the military than taking nudes in your bedroom. My whole life, I thought lawyers had no feelings because they always protect people that murder and harm other people. Not always. I mean, there are different types of. Not every lawyer is defending those people. I mean, I know that's what you see on TV, but I would hope that you have enough critical thinking skills to be like, oh, what else do lawyers do? We do everything.
And this is very true. You either like or you don't like your job, whatever it might be. And I can tell you that I've known people who do very hard construction jobs and they chose that over an intellectual job, even though they're brilliant. And that's because they enjoy doing it. So to each their own.
To each their own. The only negative thing about working from home is how it can lean. Yeah, there are negatives to working from home. Lack of social interaction, which is really bad for your brain. Some grumpy dudes on here. I love that though. I love it. It makes me happy because it causes some discourse. I have no interest in having a podcast where everyone's like, yes, you're right, because I don't have much to say then. When people disagree with me, I probably made some great points, which has shut some people up. Not saying everything I say is gospel, but I've had some great points to counteract some of these points, and some people have brought up points that they think can counteract my points. Maybe some of them hit with some people, maybe some of them don't. That's what the marketplace of ideas is all about. If we all had the same ideas, it would suck.
Yeah, and it's true. People think that doing OF doesn't take effort. Oh my God. It's like any
work
other job.
over 30 hours a week. I agree that doing content on OF is way less damaging than prostitution, but even legal wrongdoers are just as awful as working on the streets. These industries are like with organized crime, and the victims expose themselves to the same physical and mental risk. I don't think that's true of all of these places. Some of them, yes, which is why OF is a great. I don't work with anybody ever. I've never even met somebody else that like does this, but they're not always linked with the victims expose themselves. So, and I think a lot of times that's because did you hear about strippers in California that want to unionize? I think that's great. The problem is that people don't care about sex workers, and so they don't have the same rights as all the other workers. If they did, we could combat some of these issues. We can combat some of these risks. We could, if these strippers do unionize, that's amazing. Let them unionize. They should be able to unionize like any other industry and protect their rights. I say this all the time. We want rights, not rescue. Rights, not rescue. No, we don't need to be rescued. We need rights. And I'm not even saying we because I'm not in that kind of industry, but
All right, I gotta go. I have some things to have to keep up with my kids. So
OF wouldn't be a thing without.
I'm gonna get out of this live. Jazmen, if you want to, you have a whole different time.
Because I really, really like. I'm a bad customer. I just look at your. That's okay. I don't mind if you do that. It's just for people that want a little bit more. If the 3-second clips is all you need, then that's all you need. Some men need more. And I get that. I would need more. And for me, $6.99, it's a cup of coffee. If somebody has something that's like that I want and it's like, I'm gonna pay for it. You guys do your own thing.
So I'm gonna have to get off here. I have to get going.
Sex work is the only form of OnlyFans I can stomach. I'm just gonna do this one comment. You can leave though.
And the people asking about my TikToks, like I was gonna maybe do one today, but it won't be today. I don't have time. But
legal brothels. Go listen to some of the interviews that women in these brothels have talked about. A lot of them have great experiences. That doesn't mean every brothel is like this, but some of them have great experiences, and they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a night, and they only work like once a month. So you don't just look at the negative. You don't look at the worst brothel. You don't look at the one that was busted. It's like saying a massage parlor that was busted for whatever means all massage parlors are therefore like this. No. Do I believe in regulation? Yes. Do I believe that these people should be taxed? Yes. I think that can solve some of the issues that we are having. There's actual stories of OF stars who took their life. I think even their lives, but that's a mental health topic. I mean, look, we have influencers who take their lives. We have lawyers who take their lives. I think that's something. I think putting yourself online without having a tough skin is maybe opens you up to more criticism that you don't know how to take, but that doesn't mean that that's just something you need to consider. Just like if I want to go into the military, I have to consider the fact that I'm going to be sent off to fight some stupid war for no reason because Trump or Biden feel like it. That's a risk I take. If I put myself online, I know that some people are going to have an issue with it. Now, for me, I don't give a fuck, but some people do. OF is way safer for you girls. It is very safe. And now, with this, we have so many laws. We have revenge porn laws. We have doxing laws. It's illegal to dox someone. It's a federal crime. That's amazing. As this gets bigger and bigger, we're going to get more and more protections in place that do protect us. I struggle with mental health issues too, but I grew up in the hood. It taught me to be tougher. I try to sympathize for people struggling with that, but some people are just too soft. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know if you're talking about people with mental health issues being too soft so you don't empathize with them. Okay. I wish you well in learning to do that. It's hard to feel bad for others when they don't want to do anything to better themselves. I think there are some impediments there that it's I know for me, it's very hard to put yourself into someone else's shoes. And I see this all the time. I love studying history. When you look at history and you go, oh my God, I can't believe if I was alive during the Holocaust, I would have done. No, you wouldn't. You don't know. You don't know, right? You never know what you're capable of. Okay, yeah, if I can't even say that if I was born with incel level IQ and incel level looks and incel level opportunities, that I wouldn't be an incel. I can't say that. I'm sitting here with so many blessings of having a physical look that people pay money for, being very smart in some ways. All of that has, so I can't even put myself in someone else's shoes because I don't know what cognitive deficiencies they have that may be preventing them from, what traumas they have, all of this. I do believe that you should better yourself and everybody can better themselves, but I also don't think that it's that easy. Oh, just do it. We don't know. I don't know. I think it's ignorant. But here, strip clubs don't employ girls like full-time employees. They're private contractors. They couldn't, yeah, that's sad. But that's also happening with a lot of, I mean, we see that a lot with major corporations that are labeling employees as to make sure they don't get benefits and rights. I think sex work is obviously one where that can easily be done, because who the fuck cares about strippers, right? A lot of the men in here don't. I don't understand why bodybuilders and swimsuit models aren't frowned upon, still showing off their body. Again, it comes from these preconceived notions, societal norms, stigmas that we just adopt without thinking about it. Which is why I started this podcast, because I'm like, here, you guys. And I'm going to get more organized. I'm very all over the place right now, but I'm going to get more organized and actually teach you guys how to think critically. Because it will change your life. Question everything. I mean, look, Socrates, what did Socrates say? The only wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. So start with that. You know nothing. If somebody tells you sex work is bad, prostitution is bad, why? Always be like, why? If somebody tells you everything, why? And sometimes you have a reason, and sometimes you're like, oh, sex work is bad because that's what I would tell them. I would like, okay, I am not respecting myself by doing this. Why? Because my body is sacred. Okay, why? Everyone has a body. What makes it sacred? And then I'm like, okay, looking at some of the answers. Okay, the Bible says this says this. And I'm like, none of these are convincing me. Sorry. To me, self-respect is X. It's about being yourself, having your values, standing up for yourself, standing up for others, having high integrity, being who you want to be, putting your head on your pillow at night and being like, hey, this is who I am. And I am living in accordance with my values. Living in accordance with your values is self-respect. Now, my values aren't that I need to cover my body. So I'm living in accordance with my values. I may not be living in accordance with your values, but because I respect myself, I don't respect you, I'm going to listen to me instead of listening to you. But yes, some of these brothels are great, but most are awful. The industry is inherently exploitative. So it is immoral. You cannot regulate an industry like that. Again, I don't know where you're getting this information, where you're getting the fact that it can't be regulated. I mean, you can make that argument for weed. Okay, why legalize weed? Weed has all these negative effects. Oh yeah, some positive effects, but some of it's negative. You can't regulate it. It makes people stupid. It makes people slow. It makes people all these things. So you can make that argument with almost anything. We have regulated things like fucking alcohol, and we can regulate brothels. People say that they didn't know what was going on in the Holocaust because there's no way you could have done anything even if you wanted to. I don't think you understand me. What I'm trying to say is that people like to put themselves in situations or people's shoes as themselves, which you cannot do. You cannot take your morality from 2022 and your skills and your intellect and your ability and the access you have into information and put yourself into the Holocaust and into somebody and be like, this is what I would do with all of this information, with all of these traits that I would not have in this alternate universe. And I know how I would act. You don't know how you would act. That's what I'm trying to say. So, and that's the case with anything. I can't sit here with all of my privilege and be like, well, if I was a guy that was on the spectrum and did this and was very depressed, suicidal, bullied, all of these things, I would not see women this way. I don't know. That's like taking everything away from who I am, becoming some doppelganger version of me and trying to say that I know how that person would behave. You don't know, right? Again, only wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. You don't know anything. And that's why I always think about this when it comes to the argument of heaven too. People are like, oh, heaven. I'm like, do you guys not think, like, I think Matt Dillahunty I don't know how to say Matt Dillahunty. I don't know how you say his name, but he is like, well, my mom is super religious and she thinks that she's going to heaven, but I'm going to hell because I'm an atheist. So, and there's no sorrow in heaven, but if she's in heaven and I'm in hell, my mother would feel sorrow. So whatever version of her is in heaven is not really my mother, because she's been stripped of everything that makes her her. And now this random version of her that is all of a sudden not going to be sad that her son is in eternal hellfire is now. So to me, it's just a logical fallacy that we see over and over and over again, where people are like, oh, I would do this if I was in this position. People literally eat each other when they're up in, when survival kicks in, you don't know how you're going to behave. You don't know how you're going to act. You just don't know. All we have is the evidence that we have at this time and what we can learn from what we know at this time. And to be able to put yourself into other people's shoes with your characteristics, then you're not really in their shoes. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm like on a roll. When you call people incels, it invalidates your argument. At one point, it was used as an insult to people who... Actually, the term incels, you should do some research, was actually created by somebody who was sympathetic to their plight, and it literally created the term incel, involuntary celibate, to actually try to help them. So then they took the term, they identify as incels. I'm not calling them that as an insult. That is literally what they call themselves. At one point, it was used as an insult to people who feel entitled to sex. No, like, that's the thing. You look at the history of it, and now it's not used to insult any. It's what they self-identify as. If they tomorrow decide to self-identify as something else, I would happily use that term. I'm not using it as an insult. I could sit here and insult incels all day. I don't think that's productive. Instead, I want to use this toxic ideology and show you how the fallacies behind it and how it bleeds out into bigger groups in society. I've hung out in a strip club through my 20s, still have a few friends from back then. Yeah, they can be fun places to go. Let's be real. Everyone goes through stuff in regards to mental health issues with society. Most people are soft. Okay, I'm just going to ignore it. He's clearly not learning from what I'm saying. Do young men lack role models? Is that why inceldom is so popular? Younger people are apparently having less sex on average than millennials. Does this have a factor? I think lack of role models can definitely be a factor. But I don't think it's like if all of a sudden these guys had great role models, they would not have this, But yeah, with radicalization in general and any type of, whether it's ISIS, whether it's this, people who have strong role models that don't have this ideology, it's going to help. So for sure. Is that why younger people are having sex than millennials? Yeah, so there's a lot of reasons for that. That Psychology Today article we discussed 2 episodes ago, I kind of went into maybe some reasons to do that. Nobody is forced to watch you either. Exactly. But this is one of those industries where you're not forced to do it, but you still have to be very vocal about it. These type of men are forced to be very vocal about it because they're trying to prove something to themselves, and they're trying to cope with their position in society themselves, because they want the content. They just don't want the content, and they don't want to pay for it, and they want to tell everyone that they don't want to pay for it because they feel like by paying for it, it validates or it proves something that they think that is wrong with them. When I've said, and Lana, I should have asked Lana. Lana literally has crushes on some of her fans. I don't, to be honest. So Lana has crushes on some of her fans. It's not true that people that subscribe to OnlyFans are all ugly, lonely men. I think the ugly, lonely men are the people that have it's like kind of like people that are extremely homophobic. It's like, okay, and there's been a lot of stuff that's shown, okay, maybe because there's some self-hatred going on there. Same thing with OnlyFans. People who have a very strong opinion on OnlyFans and feel the need to stop scrolling and comment on a girl who's on TikTok that does OnlyFans, self-hatred is embedded in that too, because a lot of people don't like, I may not be interested in sports. I don't comment and tell everybody every chance I get, hey, I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone by not liking sports. Men are trying to prove something to themselves and other men by having an issue with women like us. Truth about TikTok, it's bad because you're on it. Very great argument. Wow. Put that in your personal statement and you'll get into any program or school you want. Bible says all kind of things that don't make sense. I still don't understand circumcision. Yeah, if you're actually going to go through the Bible and highlight everything that doesn't make sense, I think you'll have a lot to do for the rest of your life. It's bad because it's not a long-term career. As soon as a younger, hotter female or male comes along, you lose work. It's not good. Well, if you make a shit ton of money in a short amount of time, well, it's just like saying athletes. Athletes aren't long-term careers either. Somebody younger and more fit comes in, and you can't be the greatest basketball player in the world at 55, but you make a lot of money in a short amount of time if you're smart with it, which I think financial literacy is not something that a lot of OF girls are obviously being taught. A lot of basketball players lose all their money too, but if you don't, like, I will say I have made exponentially more than I would have made if I was in the past years and if I just did law. I can buy a house. I can invest in multiple things. I can run some Airbnbs. I can give myself passive income to the point where I probably, if I really work at this now, I can retire by the time this younger, hotter female comes in, or I can change the kind of content I make. I can do YouTube. I can maybe do more content like this. That's like saying, people said that about influencers too, beauty influencers, everybody. If again, your limitations and your insecurities are yours, those are not mine. So I appreciate your opinion, but good thing you don't do it then, because you don't think that you can make it a long-term thing. So you do something else. I can. Okay. Plenty of countries have tried to regulate brothels, like Germany, and have failed to achieve their goals in protecting them. That's not true. In fact, a lot of these incidences of violence being violent crimes that have been done towards these women have actually decreased in those countries because of this regulation. So again, if you don't like it, if you're not passionate about it, I don't understand anyone who's passionate about not legalizing sex work. Like, that's such a weird thing. You must have some biblical or moral opposition to it. You clearly have some big moral opposition to it. I don't know if it's because you just really care about these women. I think there's more going on there, but you can have that opinion. I really care about it because I am a sex worker and I care about women, and I care about women being able to go report when something is done to them, which in other countries they have those rights, and being a prostitute in those countries is safer than being a prostitute here. That is what the statistics show at this time. There's not supposed to be logic in religions. That's why it's called faith. Yeah, okay. Again, I get that. Of course, they have to have something called faith. Otherwise, who would believe in it? But that's your decision, whether you want to believe in something that has no basis in anything or whether you do. So whether that's, and then which religion do you choose? Because which one do you have faith in? A lot of times it relates to where you live, what you were told, whatever. There's 10,000 versions, more than that. There's probably an infinite number of religions that you can choose. If I was going to choose a religion, I like the ones that have like cool gods. The monotheistic gods got a little boring. I like I don't know, like Thor, Zeus, Aphrodite. Bro, I would pick that. You can pick what you want. Selling sex is not a good money-making career long-term. You want passive income at 50 years old, not dropping to your knees. Well, there's plenty of people who have sold sex and made more in 1 year than people with vanilla careers make in their lifetime. Again, if it's not for you, it's not for you. Your opinion is your values plus your expectations plus your insecurities plus your limitations. That equals your values. That doesn't mean that equals your opinion. I am nowhere in that equation. Neither is people like Amaranth, who is making $1.5 million a month. Neither are people like Kim Kardashian, who sold sex and is now a billionaire. Plenty of times your idea has been wrong. So if all of these people listen to successful people, all of them say, if I had listened to people who told me, oh, you're not going to make it in the NBA. Oh, you're not going to win a Grammy. Oh, you're not going to be successful on YouTube. The market is saturated, blah, 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 blah. There is that saying, there is a saying that some people die at 25, but they don't get buried till 75. Benjamin Franklin, I think. So true. Drive by some graveyards and there will be so many $1 million ideas buried in those graveyards because people didn't pursue it, because they didn't believe in themselves, because they listened to people like this who had their own limitations that they were trying to push on to other people. That doesn't mean you will always succeed. I'm going to do a whole episode on how you should look at failure. You should not look at failure the way you look at failure. Even look at TikTok. This guy that had failed a bunch of times before he came up with TikTok. If he had looked at those and be like, well, I'm a failure, let me go do something else, he would not be the creator of fucking TikTok now. So again, you don't think sex work is a long-term career for you? That's great. You can tell that to other people. I just hope those people don't listen to you, and I hope that the next person that has $1 million idea doesn't listen to you, because they would be wasting all that potential. Okay. This is the longest podcast episode I've had, so I'm probably going to get off soon. But, okay, people keep responding to this comment that I cannot see. Religion was made for the masses to control. I believe that. I just think it was man-made. I think it was made to play off of I do think it's embedded in us. So even me, and that the primitive part of our brain is also the religious part of our brain. So like, if I'm about to get in an accident, bro, I'm praying. I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. When my fight or flight is kicked in, I'm fucking praying. I'm like, oh my God. Like, and I don't even believe, because my conscious reasoning is not in the fucking meeting in my brain right now. What's in the meeting is just primitive. So I think that I don't think religion was necessarily created. I think that we had it in us, which is why it's changed so much. If you look up Tree of Religion, and it's crazy how you will see how everything kind of like bled in, and now we're looking at astrology and manifestation and crystals and like all of this, which to me that's even crazier, because that is very like easily, there have been studies done where they've randomized the sun signs, they have given people all the same thing, and everybody thinks it applies. Like NASA has literally been like, what the fuck is astrology? Like, you guys are not astronomy, astrology. And people still believe. I mean, look at some of these like look at Mormonism, look at Joseph Smith, like prove it, like, and people still believe, so human beings have a propensity to believe in almost anything when they want to. And look at religion, how convenient it is. Oh, whatever you've done in the past is fine. Even if you mess up now, it's fine. Everything you do is fine as long as you repent. So you're not kicking anybody out of the club. And then you get to go into this eternal bliss and reunite, and all your wrongs will be right. Everything is a plan. Everything is amazing. Great. Woohoo. Like, people want to believe that, so they do. That's not true. The online definition, and I quote, a member of an online community of young men who consider themselves unable to attract women sexually, subject to views of hostile women and women. What do you mean? What do you mean it's not true? The online definition of incel literally stands for involuntarily celibate. That's like where that term came from. So I agree with that definition. A member of online community of young men who considers themselves unable to attract women sexually, subject to views that are hostile towards women and men who are sexually active. Yeah. Men like Andrew Tate are showing young men traditional male values. I don't think, what depends what you mean by traditional. If you're talking about people like Andrew Tate are trying to tell these young men who don't feel important that they are important just by being men. That's what they're trying to say. You're stronger than women. I would rather have a male pilot than a female pilot, because men are so strong. Because if you're hanging off a cliff, you want a man. How important are you? I know women don't like you, but you're actually very important. You're better equipped to save somebody who's hanging off a fucking cliff, which I don't know where the fuck they are to be doing that. But if you're hanging off a fucking cliff, you're going to be who they want. They don't let these women make you feel like this. You're a man. You're important. Who's that going to affect? These people who don't feel important. And they're like, yeah, you know what? If someone was hanging off a cliff, then fuck that OnlyFans girl. She can't do anything. Okay, exactly. You're picking out comments to talk on. I'm not. I'm literally trying to, if there's a comment, like literally I will respond to any comment unless it's something that violates Twitch's guidelines. Like dead ass. I'm not picking and choosing at all. If I'm missing something, please let me know, or I'll have my moderator put it up on the screen, because I am not trying, unless your comment is just super stupid or just has no point in it, which I even those ones I'm clearly responding to. Okay, let's go to the one below that. I feel because the internet is so popular and there's so many other platforms that guys go on to get their sexual needs, that's the reason why a lot of men are not. I don't think that's why. I don't think I mean, you could argue that because women are more selective. So that was the whole argument with dating apps, that women are more selective and men are like matching with more women. They make up a larger population of dating apps. Therefore, now with the onset of women having so much financial freedom to choose between a number of men, there's no like arranged marriages. And if you go on these incel forums, they're mad about that. They're like, this hookup culture, like, honestly, some of them talk about how they want to move to a third world country because they're seeing they think because they're short and ugly, no girls like them. But they're like, if I was short and ugly in Pakistan, I would still get a woman. True, probably true. So I think just women not being beholden to arranged marriages and having to be with men for financial security and having a greater selection of men so they can pick people who are emotionally intelligent and fulfill all their needs, probably part of the reason that they're not having sex nowadays. And also because they are radicalizing each other and just focusing on other men and listening to Andrew Tate instead of going out and bettering themselves and being an attractive person in society. That is why I don't like him, and I sometimes agree with Jordan, because Jordan does advocate for that. He's like, go be something, go do something, go live. Andrew Tate is just like, you're a man, and therefore, like, yes. You say I'm not learning, more like you don't like my opinion. Okay, again, I don't want to be rude, but I am going to be rude. Look at how these people construct sentences. Why is there a comma there? Why is which a start of a new sentence? I'm not trying to be elitist, but I just want to point this out so people realize the difference between people who can think and people who can't think very well because of whatever impediment that they have. But let's address this. You say I'm not learning, more like you don't like my opinion. Again, that sentence is not correct, which I find ironic considering you legit claimed earlier in the stream that you had tough skin. Apart from that, there is a lot of contradictions in what you're saying. Okay, so point out the contradictions, correct use of your, I like that. I think I do have tough skin. Me not liking your opinion doesn't mean that I don't have tough skin. That's a big fallacy. So having tough skin doesn't mean that you accept more opinions as true and you like other people's opinions more. It just means that they don't bother you. And which is why I've been on here even after Lana got off, because I genuinely enjoy this. And it doesn't bother me. If it bothered me, I would probably get off. But it doesn't. I would be interested in the contradictions a little bit. I'm not that interested because, again, I don't see you as somebody that is probably going to be able to make a good argument. But some of you can. You just want to hear yourself talk. Well, so do you, because you're still here. And I do like hearing myself talk. I will admit that. Oh, shit. Where did it go? Oh, here I am. Okay. I do like hearing myself talk. I will admit that. There is a sense of that with everybody, that like podcasters, all of these people, we feel like we have something to say that other people would be interested in. So yeah, we do like hearing ourselves talk and we do like sharing our ideas. That's true. You like hearing me talk too because you're still here. You don't have to be. If you're not getting anything out of it, don't be here. But you still are. And you've been here for like over an hour. I used to be an incel, to be honest, but then I realized it's not women's fault if I can't get laid. It's my own fault for being born ugly. Self-pity is what I do now. I think that it's not your I'm not saying that attractiveness is not a factor, physical attractiveness, but it's not the only factor. It's actually not even the main factor in women choosing mates. So self-pity is what's hurting you more than your looks, in my opinion. Sitting in self-pity, nobody likes anybody that sits around in self-pity. Nobody likes anybody that doesn't value themselves and doesn't, somebody who's just like, woe to me. Nobody wants to be around that. So that's probably more of what's going on, or that's at least a factor. But being born, how many, look at the most successful people. Are the most successful men in the world necessarily the most attractive? I mean, look at Rogan. Rogan's just some bald-headed dude and everybody loves him. Like, people are attracted to more than just the way people look. And if you have accepted that narrative, you're doing yourself a disservice. But, you know, guys, when someone can't debate you properly, they resort to insult. This channel is a perfect example. I am accepting all of these comments. Every argument you guys made, I have gone through and I have given my counteract, and I have kept you on. I didn't block you. I didn't do anything like that. You chose to be here. I am put your comment literally on the screen, and I told you that if you have arguments, please explain my contradictions, and I will put it up on the screen. I will talk about it. That's the best I can do. But I do like to point out, I've done this in past episodes too, that there is a difference here between the IQ of people who like Andrew Tate, because they're not able to point out some of these things, versus I disagree with Jordan Peterson vehemently, but he does make some good points. He does have some good arguments, some good points of discussion that I like to at least engage with more because they're at a little bit of a higher level. That's all I'm saying. Lit World Chris, if you have an argument to make, I will put it up here. And I won't even insult you, and I will address your argument. But you didn't make an argument. You just said that I have a lot of contradictions without pointing them out. Bro, do boxing. It'll change your life. I knew a girl in college that said, okay, I don't want to miss it. So somebody's responding to someone else. Bro, do boxing. It'll change your life. Not man only, anyone on it. See, like if you're responding to each other, I don't know why I would put that up. But this guy, I knew a girl in college that said most guys subscribe to her OnlyFans were married. My some were doctors and lawyers and married looking guys. I would vouch for that. I would just say that it's a variety. You see some of that. You see some of them who don't. But I will say that the men who are angry online, are mad at women, don't like OnlyFans, love Andrew Tate, these people, you don't see good-looking, successful men in that demographic. On our OnlyFans, you see a variety. So that's all I'll say. Okay, somebody said in regards to what? I'm trying not to miss out comments so nobody can accuse me of that. There are more bad things about OnlyFans, porn, etc. Okay, so maybe talk about some of those. I don't know what to say about that, just on its own. Lacking arguments results to insulting. That's what somebody said to Lit World Chris. I wasn't trying to result to insulting. That's why I addressed the comment and probably pointed out maybe I guess I was insulting, but I didn't do that at the expense of addressing his argument. It applies to, see, like when you guys respond to each other, I don't really know. It's hard for me to know what you're responding to. Religion has to be built on a reason, though. Otherwise, it's just dogma. The reason is that they need to explain why we're here and why we matter and what our purpose is. That's the reason. Now, that reason isn't based in anything other than this book, but porn isn't a long-term career. Notice how almost all girls are below the age of 25. When women hit a certain age, they must tend to Lana's 38. I'm over 25. I make more than the vast majority of OF girls. Again, you can choose to, maybe there's a lot of OnlyFans girls are younger. That's true. Younger women are typically more attractive than older women. But again, if you listen to this kind of stuff, if you listen to Lit World Chris's opinion on this based on what he considers limitations, whatever, you can choose to do that. I will not choose to do that, especially because I am not impressed by his line of reasoning. She picks the fake gods. Ha ha ha. Oh, for my favorite gods? They're just cooler. To me, they're all fake gods. So I might as well pick the cooler fake gods. Okay, so that was the comment under that. I am the ancient. That's why no one heard of me. Okay. I thought the Kardashians were selling plastic surgery. The Kardashians just sell. They sell everything. They sell makeup. They sell. I love Kim Shapewear. They sell themselves on TV and their personalities. They do sell sex appeal. They probably do sell plastic surgery. Those girls just sell. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, I am going to get off soon, especially because it just seems like I'm just arguing with Lit World Chris. You can make a lot of money, but at the end of the day, do you know how to invest? Do you know how to manage it? That's a good point. And I would say that, yes, I would say that and that may be because I'm older. I have a good head on my shoulders. So yeah, if you're good at that stuff, you're going to do well. If you're bad at that stuff, if you blow all your money, you're not going to do well. Just like if you were an athlete. but yet you don't sit on NBA players' live streams and make these arguments. So she's good at Googling answers for these questions. I haven't been on Google one time in this live stream. So the person on Lit World Chris says she just wants to hear herself talk. Well, so do you, because you're still here again. Okay, I think we're almost done. My $1 million idea, slave labor. Oh shit, there's way more comments. Okay, I don't have time to address all these. But okay, I'm gonna scroll through really quickly. You guys are talking to each other. How are you gonna talk trash about religion but bring up astrology and crystal? All right, Lit World Chris is gonna be banned from commenting only because I literally was talking shit about astrology and crystal rocks more than religion. At this, I just feel bad for him, so we're gonna his comments will be ignored from now on because that is just absurd. I literally said that astrology and crystals are not true at all, and it's actually easy. I actually don't understand how people believe in that. I am more astonished by how popular that is versus religion, because astrology has been disproven very easily. It's much harder to disprove something that can't be disproven, like God, because you can't. I can't say for sure. Okay, sorry, I have a. Okay. Anyways, I have to go, but I'm glad that a lot of people clearly found this engaging. You go from talking about mental health to sex workers, incels, money, and Joe Rogan. This was another comment by Lit World Chris. I agree with that. This was not very organized. I kind of went to talking about everything. So when he makes a point, he makes a point. This was not me coming here with a PowerPoint presentation. This is engaging with the comments that you guys typed. All right. Anyways, bye for now. I'll be back on Monday. I don't know my topic yet, but this was clearly fun enough that I was on for 2 hours and a half. I will be live on TikTok later because it is still making me money, even though I hate them. If I don't get banned, and I'll probably talk about a lot of this stuff on there. So, yep, everybody have a nice day.